Weights have been lifted. Sprints have been run. Preparation for today's game is history. It's time to get it done. You're listening on MichiganSportsRadio.com.
If you're only going to make one basket in a championship game, make sure it's the game winner. And 2 schools win regional titles for the very first time. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. Rockford's Grace Lions had a team-high 23 points in a 65-42 win over Detroit Renaissance in the Division I girls basketball semifinals. So it was a bit of a surprise that in the championship game against West Bloomfield, she was held scoreless for the first 31 minutes and 20 seconds of action. But the three-pointer she hit with 40 seconds left was a big one. Trailing by 1, Rockford swung the ball around to Lions, who hit the game winner.
Anna Y pitch over to Alyssa. Spin move back up top to Anna. Grace Lyons, three-point try in the way, and she drains it. What a great time for Grace Lyons to hit a three, and then a turnover for West Bloomfield as they push the action out of bounds.
That was Carolyn Binder of the MHSAA Championship Network with the call. Lions would hit 2 free throws with a second left, cementing the win. Rockford beat the defending champion Lakers of West Bloomfield 40-28 in the D1 Finals. In Division II, Lansing Catholic knocked off Frankenmuth 43-29 to win the title. Playing in front of the biggest crowd of championship day, the Cougars jumped out to an 11-0 lead and never looked back. Twin sisters Leah and Anna Richards led the way for Lansing Catholic, as Leah had 16 and Anna had 14. For more on both of these championship games, be sure to check out MHSAA.com. Game balls this week go to Jeremiah Palmer of Niles Brandywine. He scored 14 in a regional final win over Centerville. It's Brandywine's first ever basketball regional championship. Rochester Adams also won its first regional championship as Peter Cardesis scored 29 in a victory over Clarkston. And to Grand Blanc's R.J. Taylor, he scored 20 in a 59-58 overtime win over Mount Pleasant. Grand Blanc has played in the last 2 D1 title games and hopes to make it to the Breslin Center for a 3rd straight trip.
For high school seniors, the matchup of the year isn't on the field. It's actually online. That's right. When you fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, you could also be eligible for thousands of dollars in additional money from the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. Yep, nearly 80% of students who fill out the FAFSA may be eligible. Now that's a matchup we can all root for. Get started today at michigan.gov/achievement. The Michigan Achievement Scholarship. It's a game changer.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with registered official Paige Winnie.
When watching a college or NBA game, the last 2 minutes of the game can seem like it takes forever, especially in recent years where more and more judgment calls made by officials are subject to instant replay. At the high school level, video is not used to make a ruling or confirm or overturn a call made during the course of the contest. The only time video review is used in basketball at the high school level is at the MHSAA semifinal and final games. In these games, video review can be used only to determine if a shot was released in time at the end of the 4th quarter or overtime, or if that shot was a 2-point or 3-point field goal attempt. The MHSAA believes that this very limited use of replay in these games at the very end of the tournament series in boys and girls basketball is the right call.
Thanks, Paige. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you're interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. Back to the Breslin Center in the MHSAA Girls Basketball Finals. In Division III, Hemlock beat Blissfield 59-43 to win its first girls basketball title. Reagan Finkbeiner led Hemlock in scoring in the title game with 19, and she led them in their semifinal win over Hart with 24. Blissfield was playing in the title game 50 years after playing in the very first MHSAA Class C girls title game. And in Division 4, Glen Lake beat Baraga 60-43 in a championship game. Maddie Bradford had 28 for the Lakers. Ruby Hogan added 19. Glen Lake cruised to the finals by beating Adrian Lenawee Christian 49-31 in the semis. Baraga avenged last year's semifinal loss to Fowler by knocking off those same Eagles this year in the semifinals. Stats, stories, recaps, and more from a wild weekend at the Breslin Center are all at MHSAA.com. And that will do it for another season of This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. It's a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we will be back in August for the start of the 2023-24 school year.
Lobbed ahead over the timeline to Gable. Gable straight to the basket. Elevates, slams it down over top of Orbaugh. Oh my goodness, the tomahawk jam.
The ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star in all the years.
Driver pounds the rock, looking for a passing lane. Got some motion going, got it right corner for Hagel. Pounded defensively by Dudley. Step back three for the lead. Buries it pure. Kobe Hagelin, 40-39 West Ottawa. A step back triple. Absolutely cold-blooded from Hagelin. Giving on to Titus. Titus angles, pull-up shot for the lead. Good. Brady Titus, a scream to the heavens after he knocks it down. And the Hudsonville Eagles are state champions for the first time in school history. They bob at center court. Head coach Casey Glass, in his 12th season, has taken the Eagles to the mountaintop. They are state champions. And it's the ultimate revenge for Tri-Unity. Another state championship for Coach Keeler's squad. The defenders of Tri-Unity Christian, state champions in Division 4. 56-45 the final.
You were
Hello everyone and welcome to the Breslin Center and game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here courtside. A fired up atmosphere, an all-time classic wrapping up right now. Grand Blanc leading late over Cass Tech 52-51, and the very final moments of this one, CT. But we have got a classic of our own in the second of the two Division I semifinal games. It's Orchard Lake St. Mary's, and it is Muskegon, Chandler. Two teams with different styles, with big-time players, and it is going to be an unbelievable day and an unbelievable atmosphere from the Breslin Center. This one tips off in a little under 30 minutes.
Yeah, if we get a game anything like the one that's going on right now, I think everyone will take it. But, yeah, two tremendous teams about to be on the floor here in our game that we'll be doing, Muskegon, Orchard Lake St. Mary's, both a lot of next-level talent. I mean, differences in how they use it and the style of game that they play, but lots of players that are going to be playing at the next level, a lot of guys off the bench as well. They're tremendous talents, and of course you just come to expect that at the Division I level here once you get to the Breslin Center, but excited to see it go head-to-head.
Absolutely. This is always one of my favorite days, couple days of the year. The coverage at the Breslin Center is year after year as fun as it gets, and you've seen the intensity. The way this first game has finished with tons of turnovers, tons of missed shots, tons of mistakes, and right now a 1-point lead for Grand Blanc into the final 14 seconds. We may have a really extended Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show coming up, but two of the top teams in the state there. As you said, we have two of the top teams as well, and we'll have plenty to break down when we get into some of these two teams, but it's the top-end, next-level talent that first stands out at you. You look at the backcourt from Muskegon, and then, of course, let's start with kind of the guy everyone's had their eye on around the state of Michigan, the 6'4 sophomore Trey McKinney for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. He is a one-of-a-kind type player. There's a reason why, as a 15, 16-year-old, he's got 10, 15 schools that already have offered him.
Yeah, I think when you talk about the combination of guard talent for Muskegon, really just such a rare combination to have three players like that, all already committed to the next level, that really can rotate and take the game over at any time. Similar skill set makes it hard to defend. You can't have just one lockdown defender try to shut three different guys down. It just doesn't work like that. But Then you look on the Orchard Lake St. Mary's side, and McKinney and the special talent that he is, probably in terms of star potential and next level talent in terms of being recruited, the top one of anyone on the floor here tonight, and the way that he can take over a game as well.
McKinney right now sits, based on where you may look, as somewhere around the number 15 to 18 ranked prospect in the sophomore class. So he obviously is right up there when it comes to some of what you can expect out of players out of the state of Michigan, and just a very unique player. But like you said, those guards from Muskegon, David Day III, Jordan Briggs, Anthony Sidnor, it's the speed, it's the senior leadership, it just is everything about them that seems to come together that pushes this Muskegon team over the top down the stretch. Even when they've been in close games throughout the playoffs, they find a way just to pull away at the end because of the senior leadership that just makes big plays when they need the plays.
Yeah, it's the cliche guard play come March, whether you're talking here at the high school level or in college, and they have three of the same guy that can do that, and I think that's a big part of why they've closed games out so effectively. If you want to force them to shoot from the outside, all of them can do that. They can all attack, drive to the basket. They can all shoot free throws. We've seen that quite a bit throughout this playoff run, close games out. They're all confident and comfortable handling the basketball in pressure situations as well.
We've got so much to get to here on the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. First, we got to figure out who the winner of this game will be playing. It's a 3-point game, and Cass Tech's getting the ball with 8.1 seconds, so it still is pretty much anyone's game here in this one. But like I said, we'll go into that talent a little bit more. We'll talk about the coaching battle, as two of respected coaches as you're going to find in the state of Michigan here in Division I in this game. There's an interesting interior battle. Defensive standouts for both of these teams that really have led the way, and different styles of defense that both of these two teams are able to play. The bench battle going to be so interesting. A lot of X factors that come to the table off the bench, fourth or fifth options in the starting lineup as well. We'll get into some matchups. We'll get into some keys. We've got a lot to get to in general for this one. The scheduled tip is 2 o'clock here this afternoon from the Breslin Center. We'll see if we are going to be quite on that, but we are going to start getting into some of those stories in just a minute. Do not go anywhere. Right back here from the Breslin Center, the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. It's game night on Michigan Sports Radio's coverage of the Division I state semifinal, Muskegon and Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
you've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
MGN, here's the drive. I am Chandler T.
Oh, wow.
We're going to leave this in.
All right.
This is staying in the show. He is Chandler Timmer. I am Nate Dreyer. This is what happens when you work together for 6 years. The names are one.
We're just one, yeah.
Chandler Timmer, Nate Dreyer. Chandler Timmer, Nate Dreyer. Michigan game night, tailgate report. We clearly have to stop talking. I do, at least. I will see you all. I see you too. Friday night, Grandville, Wyoming. I think 6:30. We're on the air for that. Goodbye. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. And he has returned. He's still on the beach. We've been bugging him about it all week long, but Chandler Timmer joins me here on the Bates Agency pregame show. CT, you seem to be doing better than the rest of us.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty nice down here. I kind of like covering basketball this way.
I'm sure you do.
Looking to this moving forward.
I can't blame you one bit. All right.
Rather than just always relying on one player.
Yeah, Scott Bates Agency pregame show continues here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. CT, I think the next thing that you have to mention most notably in this contest It breaks me every time still. Every single time that happens, it gets me. The winners still go to the Heartland student section last year at the Breslin Center. Those guys win every time. Season. And we'll wrap up our broadcast with the Heinz Orthodontics smile of the game. Grown at that point guard position. Tough backcourt in general. Getting to some of those other pieces that we have out there. After 3 years, it finally almost came down on me. Good catch. I don't know what kid caught that, but that was a good catch. But regardless, a tough backcourt.
Your flight's at 5 or your?
Yeah, the flight out of Panama City is like at 5, and we don't get home till like midnight. So
That sucks. So you're actually, that was a lie. You're not going to be tuning in.
yeah, no. If I'm at the airport at that time, I will be, but I'm likely missing most of it.
Okay.
All right, welcome everyone back to the Breslin Center. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. And wouldn't you believe it, but Cass Tech, in the middle of what has been maybe the game of the year, just banked in a 3 on a double clutch to tie the game to go to overtime. So we're going to have an extended Scott Bates Farms Insurance Agency pregame show. Nate Chandler with you here as we're getting ready for Orchard Lake, St. Mary's, and Muskegon here tonight. CT right now, this game 55-54. Cass Tech leading by 1. They went 1 of 2 at the line on their first attempt of the half. And now Graham Blank just turned it over. But we're seeing the intensity of this game. Let's talk about the intensity of our game, which I think is going to be very, very similar. But the one element, we talked about the experience of Muskegon, and a coach, by the way, that has, won a state championship more recently, been here, versus Orchard Lake St. Mary's team led by a sophomore, other sophomores and freshmen even that play big-time minutes for him. That's the one element that everyone's talking about, the talent of McKinney versus the talent of the Muskegon backcourt and some of the other, secondary pieces we'll get to. There's a real youth versus experience element. Even though neither of these teams have been to this moment at the Breslin Center, you got a lot of seniors that have seen it all, they've won it all, they've lost it all for Muskegon, versus a lot of youth for Orchard Lake St. Mary's that maybe hasn't quite, seen the same highs and the same lows.
Yeah, we'll see how both of these teams kind of respond to being in an atmosphere like this. I think that's one of the advantages the Big Reds have had throughout their playoff run, is when you've got those experienced guards like that. Definitely going to help in situations like this where things are a little unusual in terms of the atmosphere, and the energy is just going to be way higher than it has been for most of the season. So I think you've got some players that are experienced that's definitely going to help you and try to translate your game into a situation like this. But Orchard Lake St. Mary's, younger players, but still guys that have had a lot of playing time and are experienced in terms of when you're talking about a guy like McKinney who's looking at playing at the next level. But we'll see, in kind of both of these teams' real first look at an atmosphere like this early on in the game, see what happens.
Yeah, Orchard Lake St. Mary's, a team that they have run an absolute gauntlet, Chandler, down the stretch run of this season. They, again, were a 500 team, a below 500 team at points throughout the closing stretches of the regular season. They've now beat 4 top 10 teams in the state of Michigan. They last just knocked off the defending state champion De La Salle 55-44. It was an East Lansing win, 59-43 on MGN on Tuesday night for Muskegon. But that's the other element. While, yes, they're young, within this season, it's been as crazy of a turnaround as you could possibly imagine for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. So while they're young, they've seen the highs of the highs, the lows of the lows, just within this season. This is a team, they finished 2-6 within the Central League this year, or the Catholic League, the Central Division. So it's not like this is a team that's just been killing everyone all year long. They've seen the lows, and they've had to build from it within just this season.
Yeah, you look at the overall record for Orchard Lake St. Mary's, it really doesn't jump out to you at all. But when you look at some of the teams that they've played, the competition that they've had to go against all season long, yeah, there's some very difficult losses in there that kind of explain the record. But then you look at what they've done throughout the playoffs and kind of turning things on. Some of those younger players getting some experience against some really difficult competition and figuring it out at the right time.
Graham Blank just brought the game back within 1, and now they have the basketball back. So a chance with 2 minutes to go in overtime for Graham Blank, a team that we have covered this year on Michigan Game Night. They took down at Michigan Sports Radio. They took down Rockford in that game. The screen is going to be something right here for us on camera, because we're just trying to watch the game mostly sitting courtside. We've become fans of this insane game while we're also trying to do a little bit of a broadcast down the stretch in this one. The coaching battle, Chandler. Keith Guy Todd Covert. Keith Guy, 2014 state champion for Muskegon. Orchard Lake St. Mary's not with Covert. We're last in this game in 2000. Went to the Breslin Center in 2006. Two very well-respected coaches. Two guys that coach with a lot of energy. We've obviously seen both of these guys coach. They're going to be the real heartbeat of their team before we even get into some of the X's and O's that we can expect.
Yeah, I think two coaches have done a lot of winning just to start off. They're been at their schools for a while and have had a lot of wins racked up in that time, but you always kind of rely on your head coach to kind of lead you emotionally anytime you're on the floor, but especially like this when you've got players that haven't been on this floor in this situation. You lean on the coaches that have been there and are a little bit more familiar with that and kind of feed off from that, and you know that these two coaches are both going to bring that stabilization that they need, the emotional balance, know when to push it, know when to take it back and slow things down a little bit, and both tremendous X's and O's coaches as well, and knowing what they need to do in the adjustments offensively and defensively.
All right, that's a good primer on some of what we can expect. We'll get more into some of the depth pieces and some of those other elements in just a minute as well. But I think this is a good time to take a break from the Bates Agents pregame show. You may have seen on social media, put together a little bit of kind of a primer of what you can expect with some of these two teams, some of the emotion that we'll see, and some of the guys that are going to come to the forefront. So we're going to step aside, come back, play a little bit of a piece on this Orchard Lake St. Mary's and Muskegon matchup. Bates Agents pregame show rolls on in just a few.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly...
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
The Breslin Center, home of the Spartans. When we are talking battle, nothing compares to the legacy of the citizen warriors of ancient Greece's greatest fighting force. With their insignia emblazoned across this and countless other floors and marks of life, we certainly glean lessons from Sparta and their fearsome army throughout modern life. But what about a high school basketball game? And maybe the game of the year in Michigan. The Big Reds of Muskegon, 25-2. The last time they played on the Spartans floor, they won a state title in 2014. Orchard Lake St. Mary's, they've run an unmatched gauntlet the Spartans, fighting the Persians in Thermopylae, would be proud of. The Eaglets sit at 16-10, with 4 straight top 10 wins under their belt and a bid at the title well underway. The Spartan Army was known for their mobile fighting force. Arranged in the classic Macedonian phalanx formation, they had a unique ability to protect themselves while coming at the enemy in endless waves. What about waves of unmatched guard play? The top backcourt in the state may reside on the shores of Lake Michigan in Muskegon. The Big Reds feature 3 starters that are next-level scholarship players with even more capable pieces off the bench. Wayne State's Jordan Briggs leads the way with nearly 20 points per game and a dead-eye shooting touch. The endless motor and two-way play helps Aquinas' David Day III provide another boosted wave. And Anthony Sidnor III, on his way to Ferris State, scores at all 3 levels and defends with a reckless abandon. Back to Thermopylae. We've seen the movies and know the stories of the outnumbered Spartan soldiers and their attempt to hold the endless Persian army at bay. Sometimes, a top-flight in-battle leader is what it takes. The best player, regardless of class in the state of Michigan, very likely resides at Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Trey McKinney, a 6'4", 205-pound two-way machine, scores at all 3 levels, on the catch or on the bounce. He defends and rebounds with a reckless abandon. Offers: Alabama, Michigan, Michigan State, Texas, Ohio State, Illinois, Indiana, DePaul, Arizona State, TCU, Stanford, EMU, Temple. Get the picture? The Spartans taught us in the middle of any good fighting force is their leader. Leonidas, of 300 fame, led and fought alongside his men. Lysander rose through the ranks of the military to command victory over rival Athens in the Peloponnesian War. Commanding the benches today are leaders of that mold. Keith Guy, already a state champion, known for his style and emotional command of the team, along with his shifting X's and O's. Todd Covert for Orchard Lake St. Mary's commands and gels a collection of talent year after year that is nearly unmatched in the state of Michigan. And aside from his notable game adjustments, his return to the Breslin Center for the first time since 2006 has been led by a radical mid-season rally from his team to turn a sub-500 season into a title bid. Leadership and top talent isn't everything. The Spartans watched as they needed to adjust everything in combat against the vaunted Athenian Navy. They upped their own sea fighting ability to match. And secondary pieces may also be the story today, and may not be so secondary after all. Sherrod Barnes for the Eaglets is among the most athletic two-way players and as fearsome of a defender as you'll find in the state of Michigan. Terrence Davis's post size and athleticism for Muskegon is an absolute matchup nightmare. The Orchard Lake St. Mary's attack features several dead-eye shooters waiting to make defenses collapsing on McKinney pay. And Mackay Guy leads a deep and skilled young Muskegon bench that can do it all and may wind up upping the temperature of the game even more. So what can we learn from the Spartans about a game on their own floor? It turns out quite a bit. The winner of the battle will have only one more fight for the ultimate prize. The loser, nothing more to play. This is Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio, and this is the Division I state semifinal, Muskegon and Orchard Lake St. Mary's from the Breslin Center on March on MGN. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Breslin Center. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. And it looks like it's going to be Cass Tech that will be finding their way into the state championship game for the winner of our Muskegon versus Orchard Lake St. Mary's game. They lead by 5 at the moment with 7 seconds to go in this game. And it looks like Grand Blanc just cleared their bench, including R.J. Taylor, who will wrap up his unbelievable career for Grand Blanc. I've had a chance to watch him play on a couple of occasions, and he is truly incredible. I think the fans of Northern Iowa are going to be very, very excited for what they have coming their way. For certain, a guy that I know he wasn't even on the finalist list for Mr. Basketball. That's a shame. I think is probably the best way to put it. Taylor actually going to stay out along with Tay Boyd, it looks like, for the final possession here. And that is going to do it. 62-56, the final. Cass Tech is moving on to the state championship game. So let's get ahead of ourselves a little bit. What does that mean? I think it means we saw this Cass Tech team, the intensity, the trapping that they are able to play with. Both of these teams have got to be ready to run. In particular, a Muskegon Cass Tech championship game would be out of this world speed. Yeah, I think two teams that maybe have a similar style there. If Muskegon's able to win our game coming up here, that'd be a really interesting one. And a little of the difference of styles we're going to talk about in our game, I think that you'd see if Orchard Lake St. Mary's is the winner here in our second game. But either way, going to present an interesting matchup for the state championship. All right, so obviously just saw that little prepared piece. Let's dig in and pick apart some of those different pieces that come to the forefront. We talked about this talent on talent battle. I want to, because we've got plenty of time here on the Bates Agents pregame show with warm-up still a few minutes away from even starting. Let's dig into these guys a little bit more, and let's dig in to some of what Trey McKinney brings to the table. So the sophomore McKinney, again, Michigan, Michigan State, Texas, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio State, and Bama. There will be plenty more that he's going to add to that list of offers. He already has a 4-star top 20 player in the state of Michigan. averages 25.5 points per game on the year, 11 rebounds. He scored 28 points against De La Salle last time out. Again, 6'5" sophomore, over 205, 210 pounds. Just a bull in the lane. He can score at multiple levels. He, of course, rebounds the basketball. He averages a double-double on the season. He is a unique weapon, and he's going to get talked about a lot by us and by everyone for good reason, because Trey McKinney is a very, very unique player that we have not seen many of in the state of Michigan recently. He truly changes the game and can win on his own, even if his other teammates are on a real off night.
Yeah, he does a little bit of everything, not just a scorer that's going to put up 20-plus points on a given night, but does a little bit of everything, rebounds, assists, the defense as well is there, does everything that this team needs. They rely on him at times to go ISO ball, and he can do it, but is a team player as well on the defensive end and crashing the boards.
All right, you see Orchard Lake St. Mary's is Cass Tech's wrapping up their post-game festivities. Orchard Lake St. Mary's coming out, and they are getting ready to go in this one. They actually are going to be wearing the home white uniforms in this game, so actually reverse of what was originally listed and what we expected. But it'll be Orchard Lake St. Mary's in the home white jerseys. Head coach Todd Covert behind his team coming out on the floor. We've had a chance to watch Coach Covert in a couple of games that we've done before. You know, this is a very serious guy, Blake Keith guy on the other side, but a very serious guy. But the X's and O's are interesting because you can expect, here's the baseline of what to expect. Muskegon to be a little bit more faster, a little bit more guard-oriented. However, Orchard Lake St. Mary's not afraid to run, creating defense, taking defense, turning it into offense. And at the same time, Muskegon's not afraid to go to their 1-2-2, their 1-3-1, their other half-court traps to slow down their opponent and kind of change the course of the game, especially if they're icing it away down the stretch. That's what's interesting. We know what to expect from this game strategy-wise. I don't know if we're going to necessarily see that play out.
Yeah, I think what makes great teams is the ability to play at different styles. And so Muskegon traditionally likes to play a little faster. Orchard Lake St. Mary's probably traditionally a little bit slower, but you don't get to this part of the season unless you're comfortable adjusting your style for the game. And so when these two go head-to-head, then you're going to see some of the give and take, the push and pull a little bit of these coaches finding the moments and the opportunities of when they can go quicker, when they can go slower, what the situation and the matchup calls for.
We talk a lot about the guard or the wing play in this game for certain. What about the interior battle? Because I think there's something really interesting to look at with two teams that have kind of similar size but very different styles with their post players. First off, Muskegon, their 6'6" junior. He also plays defensive end, big strong kid, of course, for the Big Reds, Terrence T.J. Davis. Muscular, can rebound with reckless abandon. When you look at Davis on the season right now, he averages 9.6 rebounds and nearly 7 points per game. So he's an absolute athlete, an absolute bull on the interior. Orchard Lake St. Mary's, a little bit of a different approach on the inside. Mason Wisniewski, also a 6'6" junior, but a little bit more of a lanky kid, a little bit more of a skill kid, also rebounds the ball well. But you see with these two teams how they want to set things up differently and how they attack the post, how they attack their game. Just the build and style of their two post players says it all.
Yeah, it kind of tells the story right off the bat. And Davis, guy that we've got the chance to watch a couple times, and is going to score 6 to 10 points pretty traditionally for this team, and provides that interior presence and a team that has a lot of guard play and a lot of shooting on the outside. He's the force on the inside that keeps teams honest, and they don't really throw the basketball down to him as a post player too much, but he can crash the glass when he's got some shots from the perimeter, gets some big rebounds throughout the course of the game, second chance points. It is the physical style for this Muskegon team. For Orchard Lake St. Mary's, Wisniewski, he's a guy that can maybe handle the basketball a little bit better at his size, attack, and can shoot from the perimeter as well. But two guys at the same size but utilize their game a little bit different.
What about defenses in this game? Because we've kind of alluded to the style of defense. Muskegon likes to run you a little bit more. They'll use their guards. They'll pressure you. They'll create some problems for you in that regard. Orchard Lake St. Mary's, kind of similar to what we saw at East Lansing, very opportunistic in the half-court defensively. They'll press in the full court for sure, too. Don't rule that out by any means. But individual players that are defensive standouts. Let's start with Sherrod Barnes. This is a kid, as a sophomore, already among the most athletic, and I think I've seen a lot of people say easily a top 5 defensive player in the state. If you're talking about jumping passing lanes, if you're talking about defense into offense with athleticism, the 6'2 sophomore Barnes is absolutely at the top of that list.
Yeah, creates steals when he's out there on the floor, very active with the hands and forcing turnovers well away from the basket as well, just kind of anticipating some of those passing lanes, jumping on, knocking the basketball free, whether he's the one securing the basketball or his team's getting it. But he's a big part of this St. Mary's team that when they get the chance to be opportunistic in some of those transition looks, that he's the one that's quite often creating them in loose ball situations. 22
minutes, it looks like, is up on the board, and both teams getting ready to begin their warm-ups here. On the other side, Mackay Guy, and we can talk about David Day III in a similar aspect as well, but off the bench, Guy, Sidnor as well, it's these high-energy guys from Muskegon that pressure the ball in the backcourt. They pressure the ball in the front court. They jump passing lanes. They create havoc and a little bit of mischief into offense. And that's where we talked about it with Barnes. We got to talk about it with Muskegon as well. But Muskegon also willing to step back in the half court. We'll talk about that some as well. But it's guys like Guy and along with David Day III that really kind of lead things from an energy perspective defensively for Muskegon.
Yeah, I think when you've got a guy like Guy coming off the bench, it's really a statement to how good the rest of the starting lineup and the starting rotation for this Muskegon team is. Mackay Guy would be starting on a lot of teams in the state of Michigan, and to be able to bring him off the bench when one of your starting four guards rather need a breather, that you can bring a player like him off the bench and feel like he runs the offense as well as anyone. But a lot of guys on this Muskegon team that are very energetic, know what they need to do defensively and to get out and move.
Both teams are done with their pictures and their pregame festivities. Orchard Lake St. Mary's warming up a little bit. Muskegon has actually gone back to their locker room momentarily under the direction of Coach Guy. Benches in this game interesting. The X factors, we'll look at some of the various depth pieces, and we'll have plenty of time to get to all that. Again, still 20 minutes until tip-off. Muskegon and Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer. This is the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show from the D1 state semifinals and the Breslin Center. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back here on game night.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
you've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
It's a 3-week journey, unmatched in almost all sports. It takes 8 games of perfection, from Monday night at your home gym in districts to the grand stage of Michigan's largest college basketball arena. Neighborhood district foes for a week, then the best of the region, the best of your quarter of the state, and eventually, all eyes on the best of the best from each side of the state, with it all on the line in late March. Every game is a winner-takes-all and a pure display on the hardwood, with styles of play as varied as the corners of the state the teams travel from. To win, you'll need to conjure up some of your own March magic. No one makes it through this run unscathed. There's stories of perfection, stories of redemption, and stories of some of the great names and teams to lace them up in the mitten. We've seen them all here. The greatest teams and players on the west side conquering all. Title-winning moments only March supplies. And the end of dynasties and miracle runs that counter the unmatched elation with an equal emotional crushing. In the MHSAA basketball tournament, moments make the journey. Don't blink, because you might miss one. It's an arduous 3-week battle, but it goes by pretty quick. This is March on MGN.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly...
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
All right, welcome back to the Breslin Center. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. As you can see up on screen, 16 minutes and less until we get ready to rock and roll in this one. Muskegon, Orchard Lake, St. Mary's. Welcome inside the Breslin Center. St. Mary's student section filling up directly behind us. Cass Tech, 62-56. Winners of the first semifinal. They will have semifinal 2 tomorrow. If Muskegon wins, we'll be back with coverage of that one here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Michigan Sports Radio, by the way, Bob Sack also will be here with South Christian tonight for their D2 semifinal as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that at the end of today. Bench today, bench play, going to be very big. Mentioned back in that segment a few minutes ago about secondary pieces kind of rising in the forefront. The general depth of these two teams and how fast they're able to run, how intense they're able to play is also going to be very fascinating to me. Muskegon, we've seen him, Chandler, throughout this playoff run. Coach Guy has not been afraid to go 9, maybe even 10 deep a lot of times with guys at multiple wings, multiple backup guards, multiple backup bigs that he's not afraid to utilize. Orchard Lake St. Mary's, for various reasons throughout the year, have kind of had fluctuating numbers with their bench. They normally have kind of sat 7, 8 deep a lot of the time. That's our first thing to watch is the feeling is that Muskegon's willing to go deeper than Orchard Lake St. Mary's. That's your first indication that if this game gets going up and down, which I feel like at some point in time, a state championship level game, a semifinal like this always winds up running at some point in time. That's going to be a big benefit, even if the score's even during that run. In the long run, that's going to be a big benefit to Muskegon.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to try to run as much as they possibly can, and they've been able to rotate quite a bit and go pretty deep into their rotation in large part because they've won a lot of games pretty big, and they've been able to rotate guys in late in games that are pretty much in control, but they've also have a lot of younger players that they're getting some experience for, and they're going to be tremendous players in the future coming off the bench for this team that they get out on the floor and still have a tremendous skill set.
Let's go through kind of just some of the stats and just kind of a by-the-numbers look here on the Bates Agency pregame show of some of the pieces that we can expect to see. Of course, for Muskegon, David Day III, he averages 8.1 points per game on the year, 4 assists. He had 13 against East Kentwood, 8 against Hudsonville. He had, 5 last time out. He always just kind of sits in that range. He's that third piece. I think everyone talks about the scoring of Briggs and Sidnor and what they bring to the table. David Day III, if he's on, I feel like he might be the guy in this game that kind of turns things upside down with his pace, with his defense, with his IQ that he plays with.
Yeah, I think when you got a couple other guys around him, he's definitely can be overlooked for how good of a player he is and what he can do with the basketball. I think I'm sure we'll talk about them here in a minute, but you got a guy like Briggs that can shoot the basketball from the outside as a big part of his game. Sidnor really good off the bounce, and then kind of got David Day who does a little bit of everything, and depending on who's doing what on the floor, he can kind of rotate and is pretty versatile in his skill set.
Jordan Briggs, 6-foot senior, just talked about him. He's a Wayne State commit, 18.7 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists per game. He's the all-time Muskegon leading three-point shooter. He actually is closing in on the single-season record even this year. He's that deadly of a shooter, one of the best shooters I've seen. It's on the curl, it's on the bounce. He scores in a lot of different ways, especially from deep. And he's the guy that if the offense is in a funk, he just hits a shot to get out of a funk like that. And that's what I think is the most impressive. And his 18 points a game always seem to be at the most important time for there to be 18 points, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of times he's the guy that gets the offense going if they're in a slower patch of the game, or if they need a big shot late in the game, a clutch three or a clutch shot in general. He's the one quite often taking it, but I think his ability to hit those shots, if this gets to be more of a half-court style game, if Orchard Lake St. Mary's is going to try to slow it down, and at times where it's going to be a half-court style, Briggs is the guy that maybe with his three-point shooting can help out this Muskegon offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about guy off the bench, but Anthony Sidnor, the third leg of that terrific trio, he averages 14.3 points per game on the season, 5.6 rebounds, 5.6 steals per game, 13 points against East Lansing last time. He had 18 against East Kentwood. He's very good at the line. He slashes. He gets to the basket. He opens up a different element of the offense, does Sidnor.
Yeah, I think another guy that can shoot the basketball, but also very good at attacking the basket, catching it out on the perimeter, putting it on the floor, and getting to the basket, and getting fouled quite a bit, shoots a lot of free throws, is a big part of it, as well as the first two guys we talked about, and closing out close games and shooting free throws, but a guy that can be aggressive on the bounce, maybe a little bit more than the first two.
Yeah, absolutely. Orchard Lake St. Mary's kids have seen us now for the first time. We'll see if they can beat the Heartland kids from last year that you saw in our segment a little bit ago. The bench, piece, or actually let's go up front. Stanley Cunningham, 7.6 rebounds per game. TJ Davis, 9.6 rebounds per game. For Muskegon, I think it's the most under-talked about part of their game. And you look at a guy like Sidnor that grabs almost 6 boards as well. They're an unbelievable rebounding team. For a team you think about, being pace and guard-oriented, one of the best rebounding teams we've seen this year.
Yeah, those guys really do a tremendous job attacking the glass. Cunningham, I think, especially maybe even gets overlooked a little bit more than what Davis does. Is talked about Davis a little bit earlier. He's the physical style that brings the element to this Muskegon team in terms of he can be the guy in the lane in the paint that gets some touches down there. But I think Cunningham as well, his defense, his size, playing kind of a guard, but also can guard bigger players and down in the low post area. I think his ability to get some rebounds, get some second chance points is big.
We are going to do X factors in a little bit. I would say maybe put a little bit of a pin in Stanley Cunningham, because I think you talk about defensive matchups he's going to draw. I think there's a good chance he draws a very big one possibly today, kind of with the position he plays and with the style he plays, and also cleaning up any missed shots if Muskegon does have some missed shots down the stretch in this one. Let's take a look at Orchard Lake St. Mary's and Coach Covert, some of their stats. Sherrod Barnes, 10 points per game on the year. He had 18 points in the regional final against University of Detroit Jesuit, 3 assists as well. We talk about the defensive Barnes and kind of the defense and offense. He can really shoot the basketball. He's got good size for a two-guard as well. I think Barnes overlooked on the offensive end. When we talk, maybe not overlooked because we're talking about him as the best defensive player maybe in the state, but we kind of overlook, a lot of people do, how good of a defensive player he is as well.
Yeah, I think very solid second scorer for the Eaglets team when you got a guy like McKinney, who's of course going to be the number one scoring option, but a solid guy there that's going to get you right around double-digit points there on the season. But also when you combine how special he is defensively with that double-digit scoring, really makes him an all-around great player.
Yeah, absolutely. Trey McKinney, we talked about him a lot. We need to talk about him much more. I mean, he is, I think for my money, the best player in the state of Michigan, regardless of class right now, is because he's so big. I mean, he was huge last year at 6'3", 190. Last year as a freshman, he's 10 pounds heavier, 15 pounds heavier, a couple inches bigger this year. I mean, what are we going to be talking about by the time this kid's 18 years old? I mean, by the time he's a senior, I can't even imagine the kind of monster that Orchard Lake St. Mary's is going to have. I mean, certainly they're a team that the window is opening this year. This is not the close of the window, because almost everyone we're going to talk about that plays minutes for this team are juniors at most right now. Daniel Smythe, haven't talked about him yet, the junior, and we're going to get to him a little bit more in the X factors as well, but he scores 10 points per game, dead-eye shooter, and shooting in general outside. When you look at a guy like Andrew Smith, a 3-and-D threat, even Wisniewski, the big guy, can step out and score a little bit if he has to. Barnes shoots. Defenses focus so much on doubling, on collapsing on McKinney on the drive. They leave these guys open, and they've got some dead eyes up and down this lineup.
Yeah, they do a good job of surrounding McKinney with a bunch of shooters, and Smythe is one of those that teams are really going to commit to trying to cut off those driving lanes for McKinney, and he's going to have options there to kick it out. There's going to be some shots from the wings and from the corners, and Smythe is going to be a big part of hitting those.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The size inside, talking about Wisniewski, 7.4 rebounds per game. So that's back to the rebounding matchup, and that's going to be something I think we're going to harp on today. And normally it's something I think is overlooked, especially the high school game, because frankly, teams miss a lot more shots at the high school game than they do at some of the next levels. There is, I believe, a pretty significant rebound edge to Muskegon. I'm curious what Orchard Lake St. Mary's, typically a slower, more efficient team, is going to be able to do to counter that, because I mean, Wisniewski is going to have a tough time facing up against TJ Davis. Then you've got Cunningham running at boards. You've got Sidnor off the wing running at boards as well. It's going to be the main thing I think I'm watching today is when the teams do miss shots, outside of just who's making more shots, but when the teams do miss shots, who's grabbing more of them. And I think coming in, it's advantage Muskegon. It might be the advantage of the game. Yeah, I think throughout the playoff run for Muskegon, a lot of teams have tried to attack them on the inside, thinking their guard play is so tremendous that maybe we can find advantage on the inside with our forwards and underneath the basket. But a little less of an advantage there for the Eaglets when it comes to matchups. They've got some size, and I think they can do some things to help themselves and neutralize that on the glass as well. But less of an advantage there for them to turn to try to attack the Big Reds. As always, we want to thank the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency and Centennial Securities, our presenting sponsors at Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. And Scott Bates is your local Granville, Jenison, and Hudsonville Farmers Insurance agent, and a great, very long, from the beginning, supporter of Game Night, and offers business insurance, auto, homeowners coverage, and more. Give Scott a call today at 616-531-3441 or stop into the agency located at 3181 Prairie Street Southwest in Granville. Also, Centennial Securities is a community service-focused, locally owned investment firm with strong Midwestern values. Since the day they opened their doors in 1978, they have and will continue to recognize that it's not prudent to take a one-size-fits-all approach to investing. Check out Centennial Securities online at centennialsec.com. I can almost do those reads by heart because this is, of the basketball season alone, this is game number 46 of the season for Game Night, and this is in total broadcast number 30. So even including showcases and doubleheaders, this is our 30th broadcast of the winter season, plus 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, however many it was during the football. We had a couple doubles in there as well of broadcasting games during the football season as well that we did. So, again, thanks to Bates Agency, Centennial Securities for their constant support. Thanks to all of our great supporters, both either with the Granville Bulldogs, that's our primary team we cover, and everyone else, and, of course, our partners at Michigan Sports Radio, Brock Conkle and everyone there as well. It's always a pleasure to get to do this, and we love coming to the Breslin Center in particular, especially for a game like this one that we're going to see today between St. Mary's and Muskegon. Let's do some X factors, shall we? We already kind of alluded to him. Let's start with Stanley Cunningham. He is, of the 5 starters, I believe consistently, and maybe even of the top 6 or 7 guys in the rotation for Muskegon, consistently, I believe, their most overlooked player. He makes defenses pay when he is viewed as the 5th option. We saw that early against East Lansing. But I believe when you look at position on position where guys sit, if Muskegon does play a lot of man-to-man, I believe he may be the guy that has to check Trey McKinney. And for that reason, his role and his importance in this game gets up beyond what it even normally does. Yeah, I think he's going to be huge in trying to slow down. Of course, McKinney going to be the focal point, and if Cunningham is drawing that matchup, what he can do, he's just based on size alone, probably the closest match for what McKinney is, where a guy that can play the guard position can move pretty quickly, but also is taller, has some size behind him that can try to stop what McKinney can do on his attack. Inside 5 minutes until we get to the national anthem and the player introductions here at the Breslin Center for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Talk about Daniel Smythe, the 6'2 sniper, the junior. Played last year quite a few minutes as well as a sophomore. But we talk about Smythe, we talk about it in the perspective, he'll make you pay if you're collapsing on McKinney. The thing that I think people miss with Smythe, he's a very strong finisher at the rim. So he's one of those guys that maybe if you do start giving him too much attention outside, he can drive by you. He can finish strong at the rim. And I think in the same way that Cunningham may sneak up and be a big-time piece both offensively and defensively, I think Smythe's offense, if he winds up leading Orchard Lake, well, maybe not leading Orchard Lake St. Mary's in scoring, Trey McKinney will lead them in scoring tonight. And if he doesn't, it could be a very rough day for St. Mary's. But in terms of their second leading scorer, in terms of a guy that'll be right there behind him, don't look past Daniel Smythe and what he does offensively at the basket and, of course, out deep. Yeah, potential to have a strong scoring game there. I think, of course, the attention on McKinney, and he's going to have some shots from the wings and the corners that he really can get hot heads throughout the course of the season. So if he gets some open looks, is going to have the opportunity to hit them. And then, as you said, if teams start getting overly aggressive and trying to close out, anticipating that kick out to the corner, to the wing, he's got the ability to shot fake or be able to blow right past you and get to the rim. All right, one last short break here on the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show And then we'll get you a matchup to watch. We'll get you some keys to the game. We'll be right back here at the Breslin Center.
Can you name the 10 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before.
54 minutes.
The hood of a brand new car. And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
All right, welcome back into the Breslin Center, wrapping up the Bates Agents pregame show. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer, Orchard Lake St. Mary's, Muskegon. Matchup to watch. We talked about it. Who's checking McKinney? How does Muskegon slow him down? And in particular with that, along with a one-on-one matchup, do we see either the 1-2-2, maybe a 1-3-1? Do we see some trapping zones from Muskegon to maybe throw Orchard Lake St. Mary's off what they're expecting as well?
We'll see what Muskegon is going to have prepared. You know McKinney is going to get his shots one way or another, and so we'll see what Muskegon can do to limit those chances. I think if it's man-to-man, we've talked about Cunningham in that matchup, see what he's able to do to try to slow him down defensively, but 1-2-2 is something interesting that they've shown throughout the course of the playoffs, something that can try to limit some of the perimeter shooting, can limit some of the driving lanes, and force this game to be played at a more slower pace for Orchard Lake St. Mary's on the offensive end, and then get some turnovers out of it.
They've mostly used it to ice games away, to slow games down at the end. We know they want to go faster. You know, they've used it a half-court 1-2-2. They've used some three-quarter court 1-2-2. You know Coach Guy's going to have something up his sleeve at the end of the day. He always seems to have some wrinkle. Wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see a wrinkle brought out here tonight. All right, keys to the game. Ready? Muskegon, they got to keep the game flowing. They got to find a way to somewhat limit McKinney. You're not going to shut him down. But if you can take him off scoring 25 points per game, have him score 15, that puts you 10 points up on where you're going to normally be as a team. You know, that 1-2-2 zone, full court press, what can they do? Muskegon has to keep this game flowing on both ends, though.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of games where Muskegon from start to finish just dominates a game, and the further they get it through these playoffs, the less likely that's going to be. There's going to be more games where things are going to try to grind down in an atmosphere like this, and there's going to be some big moments, and of course the Euclid's going to try to keep this game as slow and close as possible, but this is a game where Muskegon's going to have to stick true to what they do best and have to work for it.
And quickly, the key to the game for Orchard Lake St. Mary's, I hate to dial it down to this, it's Trey McKinney. If he goes off, if he does what he can do, and then also create for others because he's doing what he can do, Orchard Lake St. Mary's will be playing in their first ever D1 state championship game. They were last state champions in 2000. They've won all division championships except for D1, which they opt up to. All right, we're going to quick step aside. Be right back here to get the basketball rolling. State semifinal on deck from the Breslin Center.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it, and move all of us forward.
To everyone who loves great food, Let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
All right, it is time to go from the Breslin Center. Down go the lights, and the player introductions are about ready to go. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. Thank you to the Orchard Lake St. Mary's student section, by the way, for their great serenade of the national anthem behind us as well, Chandler. All right, let's meet the starters, shall we, as we'll be meeting them inside the Breslin Center here as well. Muskegon, the road team today. So I know your screen says the opposite, but just trust me, Muskegon, the road team today in uniform. They are under the direction of head coach Keith Guy. The Big Reds, 25-2 on the year, 14-0 champions of the OK Green. Guy, in his 11th season, 229-36 in his career, and the 2014 state champion. For the Big Reds, they'll be starting their 5'10" senior guard, David Day III, an Aquinas commit that averages 8.1 points per game and 4.2 assists per game. Alongside him in the backcourt will be the 6' senior guard, Jordan Briggs, the Wayne State commit that averages nearly 19 points per game. He also averages 6 assists and over 5 rebounds per game. A third guard starting for Muskegon in this one is their 6' senior Anthony Sidnor III. He's on his way to Ferris State next year. Averages 14.3 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, and 5.5 steals per game. Stanley Cunningham, the 6'5" junior, starts on the wing for Muskegon. He averages nearly 8 rebounds per game. And in the middle is the big 6'6" junior, TJ Terrence Davis, who averages nearly 7 points and nearly 10 rebounds per game. Alongside Coach Guy, our assistant coaches, Maurice Sane, Lewis Murray, Josh Wall, Anthony Sidnor II, Jaquan Brown, and Sam Cornett. Orchard Lake St. Mary's, coached by Todd Covert, 16-10 on the season in the home white jerseys. They went 2-6 in the Catholic League Central Division, but man, have they turned it on with one heck of a playoff run. Todd Covert in his 8th season with the team, 127 wins and 52 losses on his ledger. They beat the defending state champion De La Salle Pirates in the quarterfinals at a packed Callahan Hall to make it here to the state semifinal. In the backcourt will be the 6'2" sophomore guard Sherrod Barnes, who averages 10 points per game on the year. He has offers from Eastern Michigan, Toledo, and more already on the table as a sophomore. On the wing, the 6'5", 205-pound monster, Trey McKinney. He averages over 25 points per game on the season and 11 rebounds. If there's a school that you may like across the country, they've likely offered Trey McKinney, including the one that plays right here at the Breslin Center and the one that plays down the road in Ann Arbor. Daniel Smythe, the 6'3" junior, will start at shooting guard. He averages 10 points per game on the season as well, a true dead-eye sniper. Up front is the 6'2" junior Andrew Smith, a true 3-and-D threat. And in the middle, the 6'6" junior forward and center, Mason Wisniewski. He averages 7.5 rebounds per game. Orchard Lake St. Mary's, home white jerseys, numbers in red and gray trimming down the side. Muskegon to the traveling blacks, numbers in red, trimmed in white. Wisniewski will jump against TJ Davis. Muskegon moves right to left across the radio dial. Orchard Lake left to right, ball is up. The Eaglets win it straight back, nearly out of bounds, but corralled, taken by Barnes, and away we go in the state semifinal in Division I. Muskegon opens up man-to-man defensively. Sherrod Barnes feeds right wing to McKinney, defended by Sidnor. Launches a long one from the right wing. Good. A three-pointer to open up with a toe right near the line for McKinney, and he makes it a quick 3-0 start for Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
McKinney being very aggressive. Sidnor there, hand in his face. McKinney right away from the start, deciding he was going to let that one fly. Early start, early made shot for McKinney.
Right elbow, Terrence Davis feeds left wing to Sidnor. Big up fake, launches a college triple. Off the front rim, no. Rebound, free throw line to Davis. Up top to Briggs. Briggs around a screen, top of the key. Step back, 25-foot three. Off the front rim, no. Rebound out of bounds. A pair of college triples for Muskegon to open, and it'll go back Orchard Lake St. Mary's way. I don't think Coach Guy loves the shot selection there.
Yeah, I think always one of the more fascinating things once you get onto the Breslin Center floor here. You really don't see many of the high school threes. You see a lot of college threes. I think a couple feet there beyond the high school level three.
Sherrod Barnes backing into the lane, poked from behind, out of bounds. Looks like he last touched it, and it's going to go. No, will go Muskegon's way. There's a bit of a quick change to the call. Muskegon right to left over the timeline. We'll go to work. David Day III, the Aquinas commit, will run the offense here for the Big Reds. A 3-0 lead early with 6:45 to go in the first. Right wing Sidnor, cut off right elbow. He'll back it out behind the arc, defended by Andrew Smith. Crossover into a triple. Sidnor off the back rim, no. 0 for 3 from deep to start, and Trey McKinney the rebound to push the pace. No look pass left wing to Barnes. Left corner, catch and shoot three. Rattles out for Andrew Smith, and the rebound taken down by Jordan Briggs. Muskegon to run. Briggs into the lane, kicks left corner. Day, catch and shoot three. Good. And we're tied at 3. David Day III with an open triple off a nice feed. 3-all, 6:16 in the first.
Both teams relying very heavily on the three ball early on. Tied up, each have hit one. Muskegon able to get out and move a little bit. Day sets himself up in the corner and a nice feed out.
An unreal atmosphere with student sections on both sides of the lower bowl here for this game. Packed environment. Trey McKinney behind the back dribble feeds left wing to Smythe. Smythe curls free throw line, and a foul and a grab is called on the floor on the Big Reds. That will be the first of the basketball game. 5:54 to go in the first. 3-all is your score in this one. Baseline left inbound. Wisniewski skips left corner for McKinney. Turns the back on Sidnor, who draws the defensive matchup. McKinney feeds right corner. Catch and shoot three. Smith off the back rim, no. Rebound down to Briggs. He's off and running. Over the right side of the timeline. Briggs into the lane. Floater from 10 feet. Rattles home. Muskegon gets their first lead of the game with Briggs pushing the pace.
Briggs right away able to get into the middle of the lane. Realizes he's not going to be able to get to the basket, but nice soft touch on that floater.
Barnes crossover, right elbow pull-up jumper, rattles out. Rebound Wisniewski. An offensive foul, or a foul on Wisniewski on the push going for the basketball. Goes back Muskegon's way. One foul on either team. That's the first on Wisniewski. The earlier foul, by the way, was on David Day III. 5.5 to go, first quarter. 5-3 Muskegon. Jordan Briggs to run the offense. Black shooting sleeve down the left arm. Crossover right wing, defended by Trey McKinney. He'll reset the offense with a left-hand dribble. Backing right wing, turns the back here on Sherrod Barnes. Top of the key, pulls up into a triple off the front rim, no. Rebound, batted around, secured by Day, in the lane, flings it in and scores. 7-3 Muskegon. We talked about the rebounding. It has been in the Big Reds' advantage.
Yeah, fortunate bounce. David Day, though, crashing the glass. Able to get the bounce right to him and put it back. The smaller player getting help from the box out of Davis, but fortunate to get that bounce and get the putback.
Sherrod Barnes, the sophomore, wearing 0 and white, top of the key. Got it to Trey McKinney. Defended by Anthony Sidnor. McKinney down the left side. Heaves one up, trying to draw the foul, and he did draw the foul, and will go to the line for 2. So McKinney at the line, shooting 2 right here. First foul on Anthony Sidnor. Second on Muskegon. 4:39 of the first. 7-3 Muskegon. D1 state semifinal winner has Cass Tech tomorrow.
And Sidnor reaching in and able to get the right hand of McKinney as he was looking to turn that into a mid-range jump shot. Sidnor has been seeing that matchup a lot early on.
First free throw is good for McKinney. He has all 4 of the Eaglets' points early on in this one. Smythe will take a seat as Jackson Wisniewski, the senior guard, one of the very few seniors that sees the floor for this team, will check on. Free throw up for McKinney, rattles out, goes 1 of 2 at the line, remains a 3-point lead for Muskegon. Jordan Briggs to run the offense right wing. Briggs will left-hand dribble, crosses top of the key, defended by Sherrod Barnes. Left corner to Sidnor. Sidnor starts the dribble, defended by Andrew Smith. Up top for Cunningham. Cunningham lobbing for Davis, left block, turns in the lane, off the bounce, reaching layup off the glass, good. Tough move from Terrence Davis, 9-4 Muskegon.
A true post touch there for Davis. Gets himself some positioning. They feed him down the basketball, and the matchup really on between Wisniewski and Davis. Davis taking advantage.
Left corner, catch and shoot three. Wisniewski off the back rim. Fight for the rebound. Ripped out of there by David Day, the smallest guard out there for Muskegon with a few boards already. Briggs runs the length of the floor. Fouled right elbow on the drive. And the foul is on Trey McKenney. That'll be his first and the second on St. Mary's. 2 on either team, just past the halfway point of the first quarter. And a 9-4 lead for the Big Reds. Anthony Sidnor to throw in from the right side. And it looks like we have a timeout on the floor. And we will quick step aside. Be right back here from Breslin Center. 9-4 Muskegon over St. Mary's. Just a couple of seconds past the halfway point of the first.
Cornerstone University.
The professors are very open to helping whenever they can.
Academic excellence, character-driven athletics, Christ-centered community involvement.
Cornerstone has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being able to approach people and be warm and welcoming and hospitable.
Experience it for yourself. Attend a Golden Eagle Day at Cornerstone for a taste of campus life and the chance to meet faculty and staff. To arrange a visit for your high school junior or senior, go to cornerstone.edu. Cornerstone University. Build a life that matters.
A sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make your community a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter futures.
And welcome back here to Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. They're showing up on the video board right now. The man that somewhat built the environment that we have here a lot of times, Tom Izzo, here watching the game. I think he has a lot of interest in number 1 in white in this game in particular. Has an offer out there for him, but maybe we'll see some of these young studs are already committed, but that means nothing in modern college basketball for Muskegon. The Big Reds with the basketball out of the timeout and with the lead. 3:40 to go in the first quarter. 9-4. Up top, David Day swings right wing to Sidnor. Defended here by Andrew Smith into the corner. Feeds up top for Briggs, who will back it out. Watching him is Jackson Wisniewski defensively. Skip pass, left corner Day with space. Launching a three. Got another one. A couple of triples for David Day the third. A big start for him. And a 12-4 Muskegon lead.
A couple of triples for David Day, almost in the exact same spot again in the left corner. Finds some opening there, sets himself up, and able to get the corner three to fall.
Sherrod Barnes left wing. Defended by David Day. Arms spread wide. Backing to the top of the key. Barnes angles across to the right side of the slow right-hand dribble. Taking his time to set it up with a spread defense. Gets a screen right wing, or offense. Turns his back, right block, feeds right wing McKenney. Pull up from 18 feet, rattles out. Rebound spiked up top onto a running Jordan Briggs. To the top of the key, Briggs. Enters the lane. Left corner Sidnor with space. Launches a three. Got another one. Anthony Sidnor, the third of his first triple. A timeout from the St. Mary's bench. And a 15-4 lead for the Big Reds. A quick start for Coach Guy's team in this one for certain. The Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame celebrates the city's rich sports history by honoring prominent West Michigan athletes and those who have contributed greatly to sports on a local, state, or national level. The GRS HOF also presents annual events in support of West Michigan athletics and raises funds to support local youth organizations and charities. Follow the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook and check out pictures and biographies of all 181 inductees at GRSHOF.com. Coach Guy Chandler could not have drawn up any better of a start than the one he's gotten here.
Yeah, the Muskegon team has gotten used to getting off some pretty quick starts. You wondered if that would carry over into this game. They went 0 for 3 from 3 to start this game out, but did not let that linger. Started to hit their shots, a couple back-to-back threes there, one from Day and one from Sidnor, really opened up the early lead for the Big Reds.
All right, Trey McKenney, who has all 4 of Orchard Lake St. Mary's points, skips right wing to Sherrod Barnes. Barnes, skip pass, free throw line, McKenney. McKenney working right elbow, goes left elbow, turns the back, leaner from the free throw line, good. McKenney with 6. That's all of his team scoring. It's a 15-6 game. Push pass down the floor. Sidnor grabbed and fouled by Wisniewski in the right corner. 2:15 in the first, 15-6. McKenney right there showing how difficult he is to guard with a mid-range pull-up.
Yeah, very difficult defense right there, but his ability to hit that fading away from the basket. He's had a couple opportunities like that. The Big Reds are probably going to take that. Not a high percentage shot there, but right away off that make, the Big Reds pushing the pace and getting a foul call out of it.
Sidnor, stutter step right wing, two-hand feed to the Spartan logo at center floor to Jordan Briggs. Looks back to Coach Guy and resets the offense. Down the right side of the lane, defended by McKenney. Twists away from McKenney. Pull-up shot, free throw line, hangs on the connector, will not fall. Rebound is down to McKenney to push the pace. McKenney, left corner Wisniewski, catch and shoot 3, rattles out. Rebound to a high-reaching Cunningham. On to Briggs, who's off and running. He's fouled at center floor by Wisniewski, who picks up his second foul in a row, and the fourth on the Eaglets. 1:39 in the first, 15-6 Muskegon.
Had an open 3 from the corner there for the Eaglets. The defense having to crash in and try to stop the break being run by McKenney. 3 rattling out.
Traveling black uniforms for Muskegon. Muskegon written across the chest in scarlet, the numbers in scarlet, trimmed in white. Skip pass, right wing to Sidnor. Turns the back right block and takes it out behind the arc again. Sidnor to the top of the key. Loosely watched defensively by Smith, the reset. Sidnor drives, pull up from 18 feet. Falls short. Rebound into the hands of Wisniewski. It will be Daniel Smythe left to right over the timeline to run the Eaglet offense. Smythe around a screen. Pull-up shot, top of the key, rolls out from 3, long rebound, jumped and secured by Briggs. Another board down to the Big Reds. Briggs will back it out up top and take his time. Inside the final minute in the first, a 15-6 lead for Muskegon. Coach Guy has stood up to direct his offense right here. Very likely maybe waiting for the final shot with this big advantage. Skip pass, right wing to Sidnor. He'll back it out in front of the timeline with 42. Sidnor looks up at the clock with 38. Crowding him defensively now is Smith. Sidnor just wide enough to not start the 5-second clock in front of the timeline. Dribbling with the arms alternating over the Spartan logo with 27. Sidnor back to the left side with 25. 15-6, the Muskegon lead in the first quarter. Sidnor fakes right, drives on the right wing and pulls out with 19 seconds. Waiting for the final shot, Anthony Sidnor the third. The motion starts, he skips it left side to Briggs. Briggs defended by Barnes, jabs. Reaching pass, right wing, Sidnor. Got it back to Briggs, on the curl with space, launches a 3. Off the back rim, no. Rebound with McKenney to 2 seconds. McKenney lobs one the length of the floor, misses everything short. We have reached the end of the first, 15-6. Muskegon over Orchard Lake St. Mary's at the end of the first. We'll be right back from the Breslin.
Bowling is a great time that combines great friends, football, and bowling. Compete against your friends or family, throwing a football at 10 real bowling pins. You can bring in your own food, or they have a pair of 45-foot bars featuring soft drinks and adult beverages. Visit foldingwarehouse.com, Grand Rapids, to reserve your lanes.
Founded in 1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
All right, welcome everyone back into the Breslin Center. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer. He was watching whatever event we have going on with students on the floor right now. 15-6 at the end of the first. The story of the game, though, it was 6 points for Trey McKenney, the leading scorer, and a guy that would have beat Orchard Lake on his own in scoring. David Day III with 8. I mean, an unbelievable game. We talked about him as the guy to watch. I believe I said, I want credit for this in the pregame show, that he may really sneak up as the guy that takes off in terms of the Muskegon guard play. Day, a couple of triples, the 2 as well. He's been unbelievable.
Yeah, he has early on having the scoring touch for the Big Reds, able to find some spacing in the floor in the corners, and then you see guys like Sidnor and Briggs able to drive in the lane, kick it out, and Dave finding himself some open looks.
And again, definitely I don't think you could have asked for a better start if you are Coach Guy in Muskegon. This was really the exact game they wanted. They got out and ran. They knocked down some shots early. And Orchard Lake St. Mary's, they just felt really uncomfortable in that first quarter.
Yeah, they did. They had some tough rollouts on some three-point shots, shooting just 16% from three. A couple of really good three-point shooters just missing on some three-point shots. But I think the entire offense being run through McKinney right now, and you see the focus that the Big Reds are putting on denying him shooting the basketball and having open looks, sending a double team at times when he's got the basketball down low underneath the basket, and then really getting in his face and not allowing him shots from the perimeter either.
All right, Muskegon will get the ball out of the break. Traveling black uniforms for Muskegon, home whites for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. And a 9-point lead for the Big Reds after the first. Briggs, top of the key, around a hard screen from TJ Davis, from Elijah Langston, and an offensive foul is called on Langston, his first as he set the illegal screen, and OLSM takes back over. Sherrod Barnes, 6'2", sophomore, white short sleeves underneath the white uniform, starts with the right-hand dribble up the right side of the floor. Feeds free throw line McKinney. Turnaround shot off the connector, no. Rebound down to Langston, the Big Reds. Jordan Briggs, right side of the floor to run, over the timeline. Briggs to the top of the key, around a Langston screen, drives the left side, reaching layup, good. Tough one from Briggs, he has 4, bounding around the ball screen and scoring 17-6 with 7.5 in the second.
And the quickness and creativity from Briggs driving to the basket, going to the left side, but then able to finish at the last second, underhand with the right hand to get that shot up and in.
Mackay Guy, Elijah Langston, the changes out there right now for Muskegon. A foul, blocking foul, will be called on another one of the changes. James Martin, the freshman, takes the foul right there. 4 fouls now on either team. Smith lobbing over the head of McKinney. Stolen away by Briggs behind McKinney. Runs the length of the floor. Right-hand layup is good. A big mistake on the inbound. Went straight to Briggs on the run. He makes it 19-6 Muskegon.
Yeah, Briggs reading that one the whole way. Just going to throw it over the top.
Right wing, Sherrod Barnes. Pull-up triple. Splash. Barnes, the first player not named McKinney on the board, and it's 19-9. Left wing, David Day the third, over top of the defender, tries a long triple, misses everything. Rebound is down to McKinney and the Eaglets. McKinney around a Wisniewski screen right wing. Gets picked up defensively here by Elijah Langston. Crosses, drives down the right side of the lane. Left-hand floater from 8 feet, rattles out no good. Wisniewski grabs the board, but an offensive foul is called on Wisniewski. It will go back Muskegon's way. 5th foul on the Eaglets. Quick substitution as Justin Watson will check in here for David Day, the third for the Big Reds. 19-9, a 10-point lead for Muskegon with 6.5 in the second. Jordan Briggs to run the offense. He now has 6 in this game. It's a screen from Watson, top of the key. Defended by Barnes, who's trying to steal it away. Kicks it right side. Catch and shoot 3. Watson off the front rim, no. Chase to the rebound. Secured by Martin, the freshman. Lob pass up top to Jordan Briggs. Briggs, step back, left wing, defended by Barnes. Throws with one hand, right wing, onto Watson. Catch and shoot 3. Rattles out, rebound, Barnes. He is fouled by a racing Martin on the grab. That's 2 quick fouls on James Martin. Now 5 on either team. 2 minutes gone in the second. 10-point lead for the Big Reds.
And Martin off the rebound. Barnes had already secured it. Martin just kind of reaching in there, poking at the basketball, seeing if he couldn't poke it free, but instead hitting the arm of Barnes and picking up a quick foul.
Muskegon to show some full court pressure. Inbounded near side, going left to right with Smythe. Back on to Sherrod Barnes. Loosely watched by Mackay Guy over the timeline. Barnes to the right wing. Screen from Wisniewski. Top of the key. Crosses. Angles to the free throw line. Jump stop. Fading shot. Offensive foul on the push off. It's on Barnes. It's drawn by Guy. It goes back the other way. 6 foul on St. Mary's. So Muskegon shooting free throws after this. 5:48 in the second. 19-9 the Big Reds lead.
Barnes running the offense, bringing the ball up the floor, and then was going to create his own shot. Looking to get right around the free throw line in the mid-range game. Going to pull up there, but the last second, using the shoulder to knock Mackay Guy to the ground to get some separation for that shot.
Langston right wing, handoff to Briggs. So back it out, defended by Barnes. Around a screen with a left-hand dribble, top of the key. Now picked up by Wisniewski off the switch. Briggs, left wing, Sidnor, big ball fake, drives in the lane, bouncing, left-hand layup, rolls out, touch shot, put back, Langston, no good, rebound down to Muskegon, thrown up top to Guy, onto Briggs, jump stop, drives in the lane, right hand reaching, layup is good. Muskegon, the second chance points again. 8 for Briggs, 21-9. McKenney left wing. Throws across to Barnes right wing. Defended loosely by Mackay Guy. Starts a right-hand dribble to the corner. Barnes. Screen from Wisniewski. Steps into a triple. Blocked by Langston. Rebound down to Guy. Given on the back to Langston. Turns his back into the lane. Bear hugged and fouled by Smythe. And a 1-and-1 coming up for the Big Reds. 4:52 in the second. 21-9. And the Big Reds doing some statement making right now here at the Breslin Center.
Closeout from Langston on that three-point shot. Barnes had thought about a three a little earlier. Gets a screen, steps around, thinks he's got enough to get that shot up. And the closeout, Langston able to extend the long arms and get a piece of that basketball. Barnes looking for a foul, didn't get one.
Langston, a 6'7" sophomore. I mentioned Tom Izzo's in attendance. I mean, some of these young guys from Muskegon as well, he may have his eye on with some of their length and ability. Langston, one of them, first free throw is good. He's on the score sheet. David Day will check in here for Jordan Briggs, who gets his first rest of the ball game with 4:52 in the second. A 22-9 lead for Muskegon. One more at the line for Langston. Dribbles twice, bends the knees, right hand free throw, rattles out, and the rebound is down to McKenney. So far, Orchard Lake St. Mary's has just gone 6 deep. We've seen Muskegon go 8 deep. McKenney driving into the lane, two-hand floater, bounces on the connector, will not fall. Rebound Wisniewski, put back block, but a foul. And Mason Wisniewski, the 6'6" junior, will go to the stripe for the first time for the Eaglets. 4:41 in the second, 22-9 Muskegon.
There right away, facing a big deficit. McKenney deciding he's going to go right away to the rim, try to attack. Missed the shot, but Wisniewski been having some troubles with some fouls, but they're able to put in the effort underneath the basket and getting a second chance and a chance to hit some free throws.
First one for Wisniewski, a high arcing shot is good. He's on the score sheet, and St. Mary's has broken double digits, a 22-10 game. TJ Davis will check in for Muskegon here. As Langston will take a seat off the foul. Foul 7-6 right now. Second one for Wisniewski at the line. Right hand flicked up, free throw good. Junior hit them both pure. And Muskegon with Sidnor off and running. Push pass, right corner, Watson catch and shoot three off the back rim, no. Flying in from behind, Terrence Davis is fouled. He will go to the line for a 1-and-1.
Davis saw that three-point shot going up from the right wing, anticipating it was crashing on the left side, the weak side. Got shoved from behind and ended up hitting the floor.
Waiting to see. Did they get Trey McKenney for what would be his second? They did. Foul is on Trey McKenney, his second for St. Mary's. Terrence TJ Davis at the line. First free throw too strong. Won't get a second one. Wisniewski the rebound and pushed up the right side of the floor to Sherrod Barnes. Barnes to the top of the key. Hand off McKenney. McKenney off the curl. Free throw line. Pull up. Too short. Chase to the rebound. Secured by David Day. He's got another board. Pushes it all the way left corner to Guy. Back up top for Day. Swung right wing to Sidnor. He'll back it out right wing. Defended loosely here by Daniel Smythe. 4:11 in the second. 22-11. Muskegon has Orchard Lake St. Mary's doubled up. Winner will have Cass Tech tomorrow in the championship. Sidnor. Right corner, Day drives, leaning layup off the window and good. What a move by David Day, the third, to get away from Barnes. He has 10. It's 24-11 Muskegon.
Day's hit a couple threes from the left corner. This time in the right corner, shot fake and then able to drive along the baseline.
Barnes feeds right wing McKenney, up fake, drives, step back shot from 18 feet, spins home. Tough one from Trey McKenney, leaning away from the defender. He's been pretty exclusively using the mid-range pull-up game right now to score, and he brings it with an 11. Mackay Guy, man-to-man defended here by Smythe. Skip pass, right wing for Sidnor. Sidnor around a screen to the top of the key. Gets picked up by Wisniewski, drives down the right side of the lane, leaning layup, good, but an offensive foul. Drawn by Andrew Smith, foul on Sidnor, and it'll go back Orchard Lake St. Mary's way.
Smith, knowing Sidnor is going to try to attack and put the ball on the floor, able to come over and help there, get his feet set, and pick up the charge.
That is the second on Sidnor. That is a timeout, and that will send both teams back to their benches. We have a media timeout also on its way right here. We'll be right back here from the Breslin Center. 24-13 Muskegon over St. Mary's.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
All right, welcome back to the Breslin Center. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. 3:20 to go in the second. 24-13 Muskegon over Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Sherrod Barnes right wing with it. Pull-up triple from the sophomore. Splash. Another three for Barnes. He has 6. It's a 24-16 game.
And the triple from Barnes, able to get the screen. Up at the top, step through, hit his shot.
Guy, right wing to Briggs. Back out there, Briggs to the right elbow. Gives it up top for Guy, who will back it out. Throw back right side. Jordan Briggs to restart the offense, defended by Trey McKinney. Briggs, screen from Davis. Up the middle of the lane, Briggs kicks left corner. Day reaches around a defender, toes the line, now kicks left wing to Briggs. Skip pass, up top, Guy. Drives, jump stop, handoff. Davis skies and jams with 2 hands.
There we see the ball movement from the Big Reds off the drive from Briggs. Kick it out today, and then all the way around the perimeter. A couple different chances. They could have rushed up some shots, but it's swinging around. Eventually get a dunk for Davis down low.
Right corner pass to Barnes, knocked out of bounds by a reaching David Day the third. It'll stay with the Eaglets. 2:22 in the second, and a 10-point lead, and a 2-hand jam for Terrence T.J. Davis of the Big Reds. Sherrod Barnes to run the offense. Hit a triple just a moment ago, and the sophomore will pound the rack. Right wing, loosely watched here by David Day the third. Goes left side to Smythe. Smythe backs out with a dribble on him defensively. Briggs, right side for Barnes. Looking for McKinney, posting up in the right corner. Got it to McKinney. McKinney, defended by Oliver. Drives, cut off, lost the handle, out of bounds, and off of McKinney. Terrific defense by the junior wing, Montrell Oliver. It'll go Muskegon's way. 1:57 in the second, 26-16. I mean, if there's a defensive matchup, it's probably Oliver coming off the bench for McKinney.
Yeah, impressive right there, staying right with him. Might even got bumped back a little bit as McKinney extended the arm. No call there, but still able to get a piece of the shot on the way up.
Briggs skips left wing to David Day. He'll reach to the top of the key to Davis. Jab step, kicks up top. Mackay Guy, peering and looking. Guy lobbing into the paint for Davis. Turns left-hand dribble, reaching away. 2-hand shot blocked by Wisniewski. McKinney off and running, and run into and fouled by Oliver at center floor. And McKinney coming up a little bit slow. He already has, by the way, Trey McKinney, his right hand wrapped. And he's grasping at it a little bit. 8 fouls now on either team, so McKinney will go to the line for a 1-and-1. Something to look for. He came up grabbing the wrist. He's already got the wrist wrapped as well. And he will get ready to go to the stripe right here. 1.5 to go in the second quarter. 26-16 Muskegon. McKinney taking his time, walking it off right now. And now he'll go to the stripe and go to work. Bends the knees, free throw, good. 9 now for McKinney. So interesting, the Eaglets giving up the rebound right now. They have nobody around the key, so they're going to give up the rebound, get everyone back right now defensively, expecting Muskegon to try to run in transition. Second one, McKinney, good, he hit them both. 10 points for Trey McKinney, 26-18 game. Here come the Big Reds off the make. Day left wing for Guy. Coach's nephew, Mackay Guy, peering up top for Briggs. Had the defender go down. He has space. Launches a three. Off the front rim, no. High leaping rebound down to Guy, but he steps out of bounds on a big-time effort for the basketball. It will go back the other way. 1:12 in the second. 8-point lead for the Big Reds.
The guy really had to go up and get that rebound off the rim, elevating, but his momentum as he was jumping to the basketball, carrying him so that when he landed, he was out of bounds. I think the guy maybe looking see if he could get a call on Orchard Lake St. Mary's as a push as he was going up for that rebound, but not going to have the call there.
Barnes steps into a right wing triple. Off the back iron, no. Leaping rebound into the chest of Jordan Briggs, who will slow it down here with 52 seconds. I saw him look back to Coach Guy, saw him motion with the one. It looks like Muskegon holding for the final shot like they did at the end of the first quarter. Day defended here by Andrew Smith. Across the floor, pushed and fouled by Smith, so it'll be a 1-and-1 at the line here for David Day III. Day tied with McKinney for the leading scorer with 10 points in this game and going to the stripe. David Day III, 5'10" senior, and Aquinas commit, averages 8 points per game, but has 10 already in this one. Big game for the senior. Free throw is up, free throw is pure. He has another one coming. 11 for David Day III. He is our leading scorer in the contest. 38 seconds to go, and a chance to get it back up to a 10-point Big Red lead here at the stripe. Second one up, and good. Both pure. What a game for David Day III. A little bit of token full court pressure will be shown from Montrell Oliver on Trey McKinney with 34 seconds to go. McKinney turns the back and backs over the timeline of the spin move. McKinney around a screen left elbow, feeds left corner Barnes, up fake, drives baseline, floating shot, rolls out, rebound Wisniewski, turnaround, put back, good off the window. 4 for Wisniewski, 18 seconds to go in the first half, 28-20 Muskegon. Here comes Guy over the timeline. Muskegon will hold for the final shot again. Guy wants a timeout, he'll get a timeout. He was back talking to his uncle a little bit earlier on during that last timeout. I think they were potentially setting up a timeout if they had one final possession, and that is exactly what the Big Reds do. 28-20, Muskegon over Orchard Lake St. Mary's with 10 seconds to go in the second of the state semifinal. Have you heard the exciting news that Michigan Basketball Academy and Storm Basketball have joined forces to bring the best basketball experience in West Michigan? Tryouts will be held March 12th. For more information, visit MichiganBasketballAcademy.com. Welcome courtside here at the Breslin Center. Very quickly, Chandler, but again, David Day III remains the story. Kind of viewed as the third option in terms of the terrific three guards and in terms of scoring, at least for Muskegon. We know what his defense is, but he's been the guy. A couple big triples, driving, couple free throws as well. David Day III, our leading scorer, even more than Trey McKinney right now.
Yeah, he's been impressive early on, getting some catch-and-shoot threes, driving to the basket off from that, also getting himself to the free throw line. You see kind of what his skill set is all right there in the first half in terms of scoring the basketball, and got this Muskegon team off to an early lead. All
right, Muskegon far side, moving right to left to inbound from center court. Sidnor thrown in to Briggs. Guy also out there. Day also out there. And also Justin Watson. So all shooters out there right now from Muskegon. Left wing, Watson with 3 seconds. Steps around a defender. Launches a three. Rattles out. Touched out of bounds. It is halftime. 28-20 at the break. An 8-point lead for Muskegon. But in some ways, I think Orchard Lake St. Mary's may be happy to just be down 8 at the break with the way this one was looking, especially after the end of that first quarter. Welcome in courtside here to the Centennial Securities halftime show. Nate Dreyer, Tim, you just saw us. We're back. What a first half by the Big Reds, but like I just said, I think Orchard Lake St. Mary's just being down 8. I think Coach Covert and company have to be a little bit happy with that. They were really out of the rhythm and still found a way to keep touch despite playing a really poor first half by their standards.
Yeah, the first quarter was a struggle for the Eaglets, and everything seemed a little bit forced. They just never really got comfortable with our rhythm offensively, and then kind of starting to figure things out in that second quarter, cutting into the lead just barely, but feeling a little bit better about where they're at as they turn this game to the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And, looking ahead, the depth of Muskegon scoring. We talked about David Day. Jordan Briggs, a couple big moments early in that second quarter as well. But Terrence Davis, you look at the post battle, we talked about it. Both he and Wisniewski with 4 points. Some powerful plays from Davis, some good skill plays from Wisniewski. A game that the score somewhat close to maybe what you would expect, at least in the general score range. The pace has kind of been back and forth like we maybe expected. I tell you what, though, this game is it's living up to the hype right now, and I would not rule out the big comeback. Not big comeback, but it feels like Orchard Lake St. Mary's has hung around enough for Trey McKinney to make some big plays.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything was pretty contested for McKinney in that first half. He's still able to get his shots up, had a pretty good scoring first half by his standards, and I think as things go along, he still has the potential to take this game over if the Big Reds get a little lackadaisical on the defensive end.
All right, we're going to step aside. Be right back here. 28-20, Muskegon over Orchard Lake St. Mary's in the second Division I state semifinal of the day here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. We'll be right back here on the Centennial Securities Halftime Show.
Can you name the 10 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car. And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
Are you looking for a new career? Aetna Supply is hiring. Aetna Supply is Michigan's #1 plumber wholesaler, servicing local customers for over 50 years. They offer great benefits, a 401k with company match, quarterly bonuses, and no Sundays. Once again, check them out at aetnasupply.com/careers or click on their logo on the Michigan Sports Radio homepage.
All right, welcome back to the Breslin Center. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here on the Centennial Securities Halftime Show. 8-point, 28-20 lead for Muskegon at the break over the Eaglets of St. Mary's. And Chandler, get us our kind of scoring recap and some of the stats that stand out from this first half of play.
All right, for Orchard Lake St. Mary's, leading scorer, Trey McKinney with 10 points. Barnes with 6, hit a couple threes in the first half. Wisniewski with 4 points. On the Big Red side, leading scorer in the game, Dave Day, 12 points. Briggs with 8, Davis with 4, Sidnor with 3, and Langston with 1 point in the first half.
Yeah, and you look at it, the rebound battle, something that we talked about pregame. The stats show it, but also just the eye test shows it. I mean, Muskegon has been all over the boards, dominant in that part of the game. Shooting right now, Muskegon also outshooting them 40 to 30% from the field, but the rebounds for Muskegon have been so big. Even guys like David Day sneaking in there for a lot of boards.
Yeah, I think it starts with some of the guys on the inside, like Davis getting some offensive rebounds, but the guards as well, crashing, getting some second chances. We saw Wisniewski for the Orchard Lake side as well, get a couple chances to get some second chance points, but for the most part, it's been Muskegon on the boards.
All right, we got a lot more still to get to here on the Centennial Securities Halftime Show. Muskegon leading Orchard Lake St. Mary's by 8 at the break. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back here from the Breslin Center.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
you've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Michigan Sports Academies offers quality youth sports in Grand Rapids, Holland, and Muskegon. With a wide variety of programming, MSA has something for new athletes who are just starting out to experienced athletes looking to take their game to the next level. Year-round programming is offered in basketball, lacrosse, soccer, and volleyball. Your athlete will love the quality of instruction from experienced coaches and state-of-the-art facilities conveniently located in Grand Rapids and along the lakeshore. Check us out at MichiganSportsAcademies.com.
Don't just find yourself, make yourself. Start businesses, build bridges, save lives, raise a whole city. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
you've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
It's a 3-week journey, unmatched in almost all sports. It takes 8 games of perfection, from Monday night at your home gym in districts to the grand stage of Michigan's largest college basketball arena. Neighborhood district foes for a week, then the best of the region, the best of your quarter of the state, and eventually, all eyes on the best of the best from each side of the state, with it all on the line in late March. Every game is a winner-takes-all and a pure display on the hardwood, with styles of play as varied as the corners of the state the teams travel from. To win, you'll need to conjure up some of your own March magic. No one makes it through this run unscathed. There's stories of perfection, stories of redemption, and stories of some of the great names and teams to lace them up in the mitten. We've seen them all here. The greatest teams and players on the west side conquering all. Title-winning moments only March supplies. And the end of dynasties and miracle runs that counter the unmatched elation with an equal emotional crushing. In the MHSAA basketball tournament, moments make the journey. Don't blink because you might miss one. It's an arduous 3-week battle, but it goes by pretty quick. This is March on MGN. All right, welcome back to the Breslin Center. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. 28-20, Muskegon over Orchard Lake St. Mary's in the Division I state semifinal. The winner plays tomorrow against Cass Tech for the ultimate hardware for the 2023 Big School Division I state championship here. First half, some stats of note for St. Mary's on their way to 20 points. They shot 30% from the field. Muskegon shot 40.7% from the field. From 3, St. Mary's also shot 30% from 3. Muskegon kind of struggled from deep, even though you think of a couple big triples they made. They shot 21.4% from 3. At the line, St. Mary's shot 83.3% from the free throw line. Muskegon shot an even 60% from the free throw line. Rebounds was advantage Muskegon, 17-13. Assists were 5-0 advantage in favor of the Big Reds. Both teams had a block as well. All right, CT, second half ready to go. It is going to be a very, very interesting second half. We'll switch sides. Orchard Lake St. Mary's, home white jerseys, numbers in red, trimmed in gray, gray and red trimming down the side. Traveling black uniforms from Muskegon, numbers and lettering in scarlet trimmed in White. Right to left across the radio dial. Orchard Lake St. Mary's gets the basketball and will start off the possession. Trey McKinney, the number 18 player in the country for the sophomore class with 10 points in the first half, will back it out. Defended here by Jordan Briggs off the switch. McKinney around to Wisniewski screen. Jump pass Wisniewski. Top of the key. Triple try. Off the back rim, no. Leaping rebound, TJ Davis.
A double team there coming to McKinney with the ball in the wing, and then just able to try to dump it off to Wisniewski, but unable to hit the three again. Another open look not falling for the Eaglets.
Briggs peering at the defense right here. Loose man-to-man pressure on him from Wisniewski to the left wing. Reaching past free throw line, Sidnor. Working the pivot foot, Sidnor. Lob past Davis, doubled in the paint. Jump stop, up top, Sidnor. Swung left wing, deep catch and shoot three. Briggs falls short off the front rim. Rebound through the hands of McKinney, but touched out from behind by Stanley Cunningham. It will go St. Mary's way. 7 minutes to go in the third. Still 28-20. Big Reds.
Briggs has had a couple looks from three, quite a few feet beyond the arc, and he's been a little bit short on them. I don't know if it, in part just due to the college three-point line there, or getting a deeper shot than maybe he's even thinking and coming up just a little bit short on it.
Muskegon now shooting an even 20% as a team from behind the three-point arc. McKinney, lob pass to a cutting Wisniewski, pull-up jumper, misses short, rebound Davis, Briggs to run, up the middle of the floor. Jordan Briggs behind the back dribble, crosses down the right side of the lane, skip pass right wing for Day, curls top of the key. Day peering inside, drives, cut off right elbow, left wing Sidnor, step back triple, off the back rim no, rebound touched around, foul on the reaching TJ Davis, and it'll go back Orchard Lake St. Mary's way. 6.5 in the third, 28-20. A little bit better start, I think, especially on their own end for the Eaglets.
Yeah, playing some pretty solid defense there. Able to get the rebound, both Cunningham and Davis going aggressive, slapping at the basketball, just trying to keep the ball alive and a chance for an offensive rebound, but Orchard Lake St. Mary's able to secure it.
Muskegon staying man-to-man. Step back three. Trey McKinney fouled on the triple by Sidnor, who doesn't love the foul call. That is going to be foul number 3 on Anthony Sidnor, the third, and the third on the team, and it sends McKinney to the line, and it likely will send Sidnor, who has just 3 points but has been the lead defender on McKinney, to the bench.
McKinney using just a little hesitation and a shot fake, allowing Sidnor to close out and get right on top of him before kind of leaning into it and drawing the foul.
First free throw strong, couple more coming. No sub actually up yet for Sidnor, so he may stay in there, the senior with the 3 fouls. That's, I guess when you've got 3 senior guards, you can trust him to stay in for Coach Guy in this sort of moment. Free throw, McKinney rattles out. Terrence Davis thought he was only getting 2 and made quite the jump for the rebound with no one else going along with him. And one more coming up at the line here for McKinney. So McKinney 0 for 2 to start, with one more coming up here for the big 6'5 sophomore. White compression sleeves down either leg for the white uniform. Red shoes for McKinney. Wears 1 in white. Spins the ball. Right hand in front of the face. Free throw good. McKinney goes 1 of 3 at the stripe. He has 11. It's a 28-21 game.
McKinney really composing himself, taking some time there, talking to himself after the first couple misses, but able to respond, get the third one to fall.
Cunningham, right elbow, defended by McKinney. Handoff, curling Briggs, gets picked up on a switch by McKinney. Stomping his feet defensively, McKinney staying with Briggs, who's nonchalantly backing the ball out, skips it right wing to David Day III. Crouched watching him defensively, Smythe to the top of the key, Day. Feeds right wing for Sidnor, working the jab step, skip pass, right corner Briggs. Defended by Smythe. On the jab step, left-hand dribble begins for Briggs to the right wing with 5:46. Up top for Sidnor. 7-point lead for the Big Reds, third quarter. Sidnor, hand off to a curling Briggs left wing. Briggs will slowly dribble in the left, loosely watched defensively by Smythe. Briggs switches to the right hand, reaching past top of the key, Sidnor. Drives down the left side, floater off the window, good. A quick attack, a lazy, nonchalant possession, a quick drive from Sidnor, and a 9-point lead for Muskegon.
And the Big Reds taking some time getting into it, eventually setting up the drive to the left side from Sidnor, kind of getting the defense to fall asleep.
Right wing Barnes, pull-up triple, no good. Rebound secured by Wisniewski, and he's grabbed and fouled from behind by Davis. Third foul of the half on Muskegon, and that's foul 2 on Davis. Wisniewski starting a little bit better ground gain in the rebound battle. Rebounds now 19-15 in favor of the Big Reds. Baseline left inbound here It will be Smith to throw in. Got it left corner to Barnes. Loosely watched defensively by Day. Crosses. Spinning into the lane. Right-hand shot swatted off the backboard by Langston, who's fresh on the floor. Given on to a running Briggs. Briggs feeds left block. Cunningham gave a shoulder. Left-hand shot off the glass and good for Stanley Cunningham down low. 32-21. Back to a double-digit lead for the Big Reds.
First points of the night for Cunningham. Strong finish. Catching that basketball down in the left block. Able to get up and finish with the left hand.
McKenney drives, and a blocking foul called on the floor against Sidnor. Do they get Sidnor or they get Cunningham? Waiting for the call right here. Muskegon coaches are barking out some signals. The foul will be on Cunningham, his first, not Sidnor. They're both in the range. Right corner, catch and shoot shot. Trey McKenney is good. A high-reaching two right there makes it a 32-23 game. Briggs to back it out. Briggs crosses up the middle of the lane. Pull-up shot, right elbow, splash. Tough one and a big answer from Briggs. He's in double-digit scoring with 10.
McKenney and Briggs exchanging their pull-up mid-range shots, creating it on their own and finishing them.
Right wing Barnes steps around the defender, launches along two, off the front rim, no. Rebound down to Day, given on to Briggs. Past the halfway point of the third, 12-point lead for the Big Reds. And Briggs is fouled. No, they get an offensive foul there? They did. It's going to be off the ball on Elijah Langston. So Langston off the ball commits the foul. Cunningham takes a steep. Montrell Oliver comes in, and a timeout is called on the floor. 3:53 in the third. Coach Guy wants to settle down his guys a little bit as they hold on to that 34-23 lead. We'll be right back here from the Breslin Center.
Looking for a great place to buy a used truck or car? Check out Extreme Truck and Auto Center, located at 1098 O'Malley Drive in Coopersville. They have a huge selection of trucks, cars, vans, and SUVs. Stop by their lot or give them a call at 616-384-3777. You can check out their inventory at xtacenter.com.
Welcome back to the Breslin Student Events Center at Michigan State University. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. March on MGN, presenting the Division I state semifinal between Muskegon and Orchard Lake St. Mary's. The 25-2 Big Reds leading the 16-10 Eaglets 34-23. Muskegon out of Coach Guy's timeout. We'll get ready to go to work. Fouls right now in the second half are 5-0, all 5 on the Big Reds. 4 timeouts remaining for either team. Sherrod Barnes and the Eaglets will go to work out of the timeout. Lob pass down low. Wisniewski settles the ball, dribbles it off his foot on a power dribble, rolls out of bounds. Muskegon basketball.
Wisniewski on the catch. Got himself a little bit underneath the backboard, had to try to dribble to get himself back from underneath the basket and ended up losing control on the power dribble.
Jordan Briggs to work slowly, defended here by the sophomore guard Sherrod Barnes. Crosses with Oliver. Off the left side, backing out, Briggs now. Screen from Oliver, denies it, goes left side, walks back around the screen, top of the key. Briggs throws left wing onto Martin. The freshman drives, right-hand layup, misses it all strong. Rebound ripped down by Wisniewski, given on to Smythe, near side right to left, and Orchard Lake St. Mary's will set up the offense. Smythe defended by David Day III in the wing. Trying to hand off from McKenney, got denied. Smythe drives, right-hand shot, off the window, good, and a foul. Daniel Smythe, first points of the game, and a tough finish through contact. He's got one coming up at the line.
First points for a guy that averages 10 points per game for the Eaglets. They're creating on his own. McKinney was looking for the basketball. Instead, Smythe doing it on his own.
So Smythe will go to the stripe. Free throw is good. Smythe completes the three-point play. Foul was on Martin, by the way, his second. And here's Briggs. Gets a screen set from Oliver, denies it. Left side Briggs, stutter step, now goes around the screen, free throw line. whip pass, left wing Day, drives, lost the handle, grabbed and fouled. First foul of the half on the Big Reds. They will whistle Smythe for his second.
Smythe doing everything he could, trying to keep his feet in front, but Dave pretty quick there with the dribble, trying to get around him and get around to the baseline.
Lobbed over the head of the freshman, the leaping Martin. He'll get it and settle it down left wing for Day. Day for Briggs in front of the timeline. Right wing Sidnar. Sidnar, right corner Martin. Martin lost the handle, gathered right wing by Briggs. Briggs to back it out in front of the timeline with 2.5 in the third. 34-26 Muskegon. Hand off for a curling Sidnor, driving on Barnes. Pull-up jumper, right elbow, off the back iron. Sidnor races to his own rebound. Kick out pass, right corner Briggs. Up top for Day. Day handoff for Briggs. Briggs defended by Andrew Smith. Down the right side, he's grabbed by Smith, his second, or the team's second foul of the half, and also the second foul on Andrew Smith. 2:05 in the third, 34-26 Muskegon. We will see Jackson Wisniewski, the senior guard, check in for the Eaglets as Smith takes a seat. Again, Coach Covert has only gone 6 deep. We've seen Muskegon go as deep as 8 or 9 at points throughout this game. Guy will come into the game as Sidnor will take a seat for Coach Keith Guy. Mackay Guy throws in right corner to Day. Day for Guy right wing. Loosely watched defensively by Wisniewski. He'll back it out. Hand off Briggs in front of the timeline. Sherrod Barnes will crowd him. Briggs, jab step, drives, jump stop, right block, whip pass, left wing, Guy, hand off Day, looks at the basket, stutters into the lane, kicks left corner, catch and shoot three, Martin, good! James Martin, the freshman on the board, 37-26 Muskegon.
The offense really gets rolling once they're able to initially get inside the lane or inside the arc. Breaks the defense initially, then just swinging the basketball around, multiple options to attack or shoot.
Smythe cut off right block, poked and stolen away by Martin. On to Briggs. Briggs, left corner, Guy. Back to Briggs, left wing, defended by Barnes, so back it out. What a couple of possessions for the freshman Martin, though. Briggs driving in the lane, loses the handle, regathers, pull-up jumper from 8, splash. 12 points for Briggs, 37-28.
Briggs has been impressive in that pull-up mid-range game all night long.
Trey McKenney drives, floater strong, but a foul from behind. 1:02 in the third, McKenney goes to the line. Whistle will be on either Guy or Briggs, waiting to see that call coming in, as it will send McKenney to the line. First free throw, McKenney rattles out. He has really struggled at the stripe, Chandler.
Had some issues here in the second half.
One more at the line here for McKenney. Sophomore, 6'5", 4-star recruit, top 20 player in the country for his class. He has 13 in this game. Second free throw, good. He has 14. Been held very quiet, especially in the second half and in this game in general. It'll be Briggs to run the offense here. Left wing for Guy. Defense crowding in on him was Wisniewski. Guy left wing. Defended by Wisniewski, the top of the key. He'll back it out. Guy, left side, drives, cut off right elbow, keeping the dribble. Mackay Guy to back it out. Across to the right side of the floor, now picked up defensively by Barnes. Barnes throws maybe just a little bit of a hip into him, but gets the foul call, the fourth foul of the half on Orchard Lake St. Mary's, the second foul on Sherrod Barnes. Justin Watson to check in here as Montreal Oliver takes a seat.
Pretty light contact there from Barnes. It looked like Guy as much threw his hip into Barnes as much as Barnes did vice versa, but going to get the foul called against him regardless.
Into the backcourt left to right, Jordan Briggs to slowly start the offense, defended here by the sophomore Barnes. 30 seconds to go in the third. 39-27 Muskegon, poked away by Barnes into the backcourt. Barnes gets his ankles twisted up with Briggs inadvertently, sends Briggs tumbling down to the floor, and a foul is called on Barnes. His third will send Briggs to the line for a 1-and-1.
Barnes poking it free. able to initially force it into the backcourt and then in an attempt to try to gain possession of the basketball, giving it his all, diving really as Briggs was closer to the basketball, ended up taking out Briggs' legs as he was trying to dive from behind.
Looks like it may have called an offensive foul, so no free throws. That was the 7th team foul right here, so be backed out here by the Big Reds. Briggs crosses, behind the back dribble, angles, kick out, left wing, catch and shoot three. Watson rattles out, rebound, down to Barnes. That'll do it for the third. By the way, correction, that of course was the 4th team foul on Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Flipped down the scoreboard. We've done 3 quarters, 39-27. Muskegon leading the Eaglets after 3. We will be right back here from the Breslin.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
All right, welcome back to the Breslin Center. Nate Chandler with you. 1 quarter left. We got the half-court shots going on right now with some of the students from Muskegon and St. Mary's. A 39-27 advantage at the break, though, the final break for Muskegon. And this is where we've seen this team be so good throughout the playoff run. They have iced games away incredibly well. You know, we've seen them bring the trap out. We've seen them slow down their own attack. And I think we can maybe expect to see some more of the same here as they try to win this one down the stretch.
The exact position Muskegon wanted to be going into the 4th quarter. Got sure ball handlers out there that aren't going to turn the basketball over. You're not too worried about that. And you've got guys that can hit some free throws. They've been doing it this entire playoff run. They've been hitting some clutch free throws and icing games away.
And at this point in time, if there were a chance for Trey McKinney to come out and make a big statement, with Tom Izzo and probably other coaches potentially in the building here in some degree to watch him, this may be the exact moment where he'll be looking to make that kind of statement. 8 minutes to go in the 4th, 39-27. And left to right, Mackay Guy will hand off for Jordan Briggs. And Muskegon will start the offense here. Day and Davis are also out there along with Sidnor, who's got it right wing. Sidnor defended right block and cut off by Wisniewski. Hand off for a spinning Briggs right wing. Briggs across the floor, left wing with a left-hand dribble. Sherrod Barnes will crowd him. Between the leg dribble, thrown right wing now to Sidnor. Jabs to the free throw line, Sidnor to the left side of the lane. Floating shot, short off the rim, but a foul. That'll send Anthony Sidnor III to the line for a couple right here. 7:36 in the 4th, and Sidnor at the line. Sidnor, 5 points in this one so far. He's been battling a little bit of foul trouble with 3, and he splashes down the first free throw pure. Smith will check in for Wisniewski. One more for Sidnor at the stripe. Sidnor bends the knees, right-hand free throw. Off the connector, no, goes 1 of 2. It's a 40-27 game. Here is Trey McKinney. He has 14 points in this game. Will work slowly with the left-hand dribble. The big sophomore feeds right wing to Smythe. Smythe skips up top. McKinney gave a shoulder fake. Stops free throw line. Fadeaway shot from the line. Rattles out. Rebound into the hands of Briggs. But a foul is called on the floor on Wisniewski and Orchard Lake St. Mary's, his 3rd, team 6. Check that. It's actually going to be a foul on Muskegon, and it is going to send Wisniewski to the line right here in the bonus.
Yeah, Wisniewski on the weak side, trying to jump and elevate for that rebound. Looked like he got pushed from behind, unable to get the rebound right away. Coach Covert looking for the call a little bit late on the whistle, but going to give the Eaglets possession here.
The foul on Davis will be his third instead here, and it will send Wisniewski to the line. There's been some back and forth between Davis and McKenney, either on where they're supposed to stand on the key. They've both been in the paint. They've both been talking to each other, talking to the refs. Now we'll get everyone set in position, and Wisniewski goes to the line. Free throw. Good, he has another one coming. Oh, and a push after the play. McKenney went sliding down to the floor. The officials will break it out a little bit right here as Davis and McKenney continue to face each other up. There's some bad blood growing down the stretch now.
Yeah, right away, McKenney crashing hard in case that was a miss, and Davis, I think, from the start was seeking him to try to body him and get a box out, and a very aggressive one at that.
They're staring each other down. They just gave a little bit of a head nod to each other as well, so keep an eye on this rebound attempt if there is one. One more for Wisniewski. Bends the knees. Free throw is good. He rolls it home. And again, 1 in white, 24 in black came crashing together at the end of the play, and a timeout is called on the floor. 7:16 in the fourth, 40-29 Muskegon over St. Mary's. It's not too late to apply for admission at Ferris State University, and you have to make sure that you sign up for orientation. Ferris State also offers summer camps and all sports. Check them out online at ferris.edu. And Golf Emporium has a surplus of golf bags, and anyone who mentions Michigan Sports Radio will receive $35 off any golf bag. Thanks to the Bates Agency and Centennial Securities. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer here, 40-29. So some of those lead stats, and the one thing that jumps off the page is 11-point game, but that field goal percentage. Muskegon shooting nearly 45% from the field. St. Mary's shooting sub 30. Terrific defense from Muskegon. They also have grabbed the lion's share of rebounds in this one, and that's your difference.
Yeah, I think that all around the team defense from Muskegon all night long has been there. A lot of contested shots from the Eaglets. A lot of attention paid to McKenney, and it's been a lot of contested jumpers from him, but really up and down, it's been not a lot of open looks for the Eaglets, and when they've had them, they haven't been able to cash in.
Muskegon to this 11-point lead. 2014 was the last time they played in the semifinals. They won that game. They also won the state championship game that year for Coach Keith Guy's lone state title in his 11 years with the Big Reds. Looking to hang on and get a chance to play for another one against Cass Tech tomorrow. Briggs will lob it up top to Davis. Hand off for Briggs around a screen left wing. Dancing into the lane. Pull-up jumper. Off the back iron, no. Touching, put back. Davis is good. 6 points for Davis. Great anticipation there. 6:53 in the fourth. 42-29 Muskegon.
Davis originally setting the screen for Briggs to get to the mid-range, and then following that up, following the shot to the rim and seeing it fall off right away, one hand put back.
Sherrod Barnes up top. Throws left elbow to McKenney. Drives, floater, off the window and good. He has 16. That's one of the first times we've actually seen McKenney penetrate and drive close to the rim for a little flick shot.
Yeah, he's been settling quite a bit for contested mid-range shots, falling away from the basket, falling left or right, that time able to get all the way to the rim.
Just a terrific defensive game played in that way by Muskegon, even though he has 16 points. I mean, that's right now 10 points below his season average. 42-31 Muskegon. Briggs gets a handoff from Davis, curls left side, cut off left elbow, jump pass, left corner. Sidnor drives the baseline, right hand push shot, good. Anthony Sidnor the third with 8, 44-31 Muskegon.
Sidnor, once he catches it in the wing, gives just enough of a jab, thinking he's going back to the middle of the floor, and then able to get along and finish along the baseline.
Barnes skipped to McKenney, pull-up shot, left elbow, off the back iron, no. He was sent down to the floor asking for a foul call. Rebound to David Day the third with pace. With two hands, throws over the timeline to Briggs. Behind the back dribble to stop left wing, defended by Sherrod Barnes, he'll pull it out. Briggs, screen from Davis, denies it, splits to the free throw line, skip pass onto Sidnor, Euro step, leaning right hand shot, 360s, will not fall, poured down to McKenney, behind the back dribble, poked and stolen by Sidnor, drives to the basket, gets upended, two-hand shot, rolls out, no good, but a foul, and Sidnor will go to the line for two.
Muskegon just relentless there, even after the missed shot and the rebound for McKenney, poking it free, getting themselves another look. Andrew Smith hitting the floor a couple different times, thinking he was going to pick up a charge. I think the first time was the best bet, doesn't get the call. And then as he set up to try to get the charge again, ended up picking up the blocking foul.
That's the third foul now on Smith. First free throw is pure for Anthony Sidnor. He has 9. How about Muskegon right now? Sidnor 1 point away from all of their big 3 starting guards getting into double digits in the state semifinal game in a 45-31 lead. One more at the line for Sidnor. Wears 4 in the traveling black uniform. Dribbles a few times to steady. Bends the knees. Right hand free throw. Falls short. Leaping rebound down to McKenney. McKenney down the right side of the lane. Defended by Day. Floater. Misses everything short, but a foul called on Sidnor, who's trying to draw the offensive foul. That is the 4th on number 4, who comes up with his arms spread wide after the play. And Trey McKenney will go to the line for 2. McKenney's got a little bit of a smirk on his face. I think he may agree a little bit with Sidnor's argument right there, but he'll be going to the line and certainly take it.
Those two have been tangled up a couple times. Sidnor reaching in, doing a good job of trying to limit McKenney's opportunities, but in the process picking up a couple fouls, getting his hand in there, trying to knock the basketball free.
Martin checks in for Sidnor after McKenney used all sides of the rim and got it to fall. One more here for number 1 in white, Trey McKenney. He has 17 points in this game for the sophomore. McKenney bends the knees. Right hand free throw, good. 18 for McKenney, and a timeout on the floor from the St. Mary's bench and Coach Covert. 5:15 in the 4th, 45-33 Muskegon over St. Mary's. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer again. If Muskegon does win, we'll be back here tomorrow for the championship game against Cass Tech. And right now, Muskegon in very good position if they can hang on down the stretch to do just that and get back to the state title game for the first time since 2014.
That's something they've done well, and continue a couple minutes. It was this position going into the 4th quarter, and they've been able to continue that first couple minutes into this 4th quarter. They've been able to hit some free throws and lock it down defensively, not allowing any big plays or transition opportunities for Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
And 3 minutes now have run off this final quarter clock, so time becoming more and more at a premium. I think the key to the game right now, especially into the double bonus, starting at the next foul for Orchard Lake St. Mary's, Trey McKenney has to be more aggressive than I think he's been. And yes, he's their leading scorer. And yes, McKenney has 18 points still. But like we said, he's settled for outside shots quite often. He hasn't gotten downhill the way we know he can get downhill. I think McKenney driving to the rack, getting to the line, and trying to score maybe through some contact is going to be pretty critical for this team.
Yeah, they're going to need him to step up and be aggressive in that way. I think he's gotten himself to that mid-range, but just doesn't seem to be able to get all the way to the rim. You wonder, too, how much the wrist and hand area there being wrapped up, if that's affecting him at all. But you've seen it on and off a couple times, once here in the second half where he's been able to drive and finish at the rim. And I think he's got to get a little bit more to that mindset and attacking quickly in the possession.
All right, 45-33 Muskegon over St. Mary's. Left to right across your radio dial. It'll be taken up here by Jordan Briggs in the black uniforms for Muskegon. Defended by Barnes. Briggs drives, pull-up floater in the paint. Too strong. Flying putback Martin strong, and he is fouled and sent down to the floor. James Martin, the big 6'3" freshman, will go to the stripe. And we'll get ready to go to work.
Martin all the way from the right corner, crashing the glass. Goes up, almost had the putback, and would have been an and-one opportunity. Able to catch that rebound and put it up in the same motion.
Free throw, Martin, good. 4 now for the freshman. He's had some really, really impressive moments on both ends of the floor in this game, and I think Coach Guy got to love the way that a freshman has stepped up in the biggest stage for his team here at the Breslin Center. Second free throw, too strong. Leaping rebound down to McKenney. 46-33. McKenney pressured in the full court right here. Muskegon is going to their three-quarter court trap. Pass over the timeline to Barnes. Stops left wing, kicks for Smythe. Left corner, catch and shoot 3. Rattles out, rebound down to David Day III. So Muskegon, Chandler, brings out the trap for the first time.
Yeah, I see right there trying to stop McKenney from bringing the ball up the floor and then trying to rush the possession in a bad shot.
Jump pass from Mackay Guy, stolen away by Smith over the timeline to Barnes. Barnes, Euro step floater, touches off the front rim and goes home. 8 points now for Barnes, 46-35. Mackay Guy to run the offense here up the right side of the floor for the Big Reds. Crosses left wing. A carry is called as he crosses over the timeline, and it will go back the other way.
Smythe out there providing pressure in the face of guys. He was bringing the ball over the half-court line, and then just a little bit of a Miss there from Mackay Guy, and just a little lazy there is trying to get the dribble into the front court.
Trey McKinney, pull-up shot, free throw line through a pair of defenders, too strong. Rebound down to Jordan Briggs. Crossover, take it away from the full court pressure of Smythe over the timeline. And a light foul from behind on Smythe is called. Will send Briggs to the line for a 1-and-1. That's 3 fouls now on Smythe.
And Briggs just really smart with the basketball. As he brings it up the floor, knows Smythe is trailing behind him. Able to position himself and go to that side just a little bit, knowing that if he slows down just in the slightest, that Smythe's going to run into him and likely going to get a foul.
Free throw from Briggs, good. He has 13 and has one more at the stripe. Back up to an 11-point lead here, 46-35 for the Big Reds. Both teams into the bonus down the stretch. Muskegon 4 timeouts remaining, 2 timeouts remaining for the Eaglets. Briggs, second free throw, falls short, rebound down to Wisniewski. Here is Sherrod Barnes at the left side of the floor. Off the miss, Muskegon can't set up the trap. Barnes drives, two-hand shot, falls short in the paint, but a foul called. Barnes to the line for 2. 3:56 to go. Looks like the foul going to be on Cunningham. That'll be his second. And that is the guy that the Big Reds wanted that one to be on for certain. Sherrod Barnes with 8. The sophomore will go to work at the line. He averages 10 points per game on the season, along with his terrific defense for the 6'2 sophomore. High arcing first free throw is pure. He has another one coming up. Wisniewski will check in here for Smythe. Again, Coach Covert has only gone 6 deep in this game for the Eaglets. Barnes, second free throw. Good, he hits them both pure. He has double digits with 10. Down to a 10-point game. Guy to throw in against the full court pressure. Got it to Briggs up the left side of the floor. Briggs splits a pair of defenders over the timeline, curls up top, feeds left wing to Day. Free throw line to Guy. Guy back left side to Day, working against the pressure. Right wing to Briggs. Briggs into the lane, is grabbed and fouled from behind by McKinney. That'll be his third. 3:43 in the fourth. 10-point lead for Muskegon. Both teams into the double bonus.
Figured swinging the basketball around as they were able to break the pressure, and then had the defense still chasing. Briggs able to break it and looked like he was going to have a chance to either drive to the rim or kick it out, and McKinney had no choice but to try and hold him.
Free throw good for Briggs. He has 14. Muskegon's leading scorer in this game, and kind of a quiet 14 for Briggs, but that's what we always say with him. He just finds a way to score when he needs to. Both are good. He hits the second pure. And a timeout on the floor again. 3:43 in the fourth, 49-37. Muskegon over Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Scott Bates is your local Granville, Jenison, and Hudsonville Farmers Insurance agent, and is a great longtime supporter of Game Night and offers business insurance, auto, homeowners coverage, and more. Give Scott a call today at 616-531-3441 or stop into the agency located at 3181 Prairie Street Southwest in Granville. Courtside again, and we've started to reach the foul portion of the game, the foul shooting portion of the game, where normally Muskegon's so good. Missed a couple early, a couple good ones there from Briggs. 3:43 to go. Execution going to be critical. Muskegon's been very good executing these moments.
Yeah, they have. They're pretty comfortable in this situation. They surprisingly are sitting right around the 55 to 60% free throw percentage, which is a bit low for them. But after those couple makes from Briggs, up now to the 60%. But still a lot of comfortable free throw shooters out there. They've got the guys on the floor that, in a game to try to close it out, they feel pretty comfortable.
Inbounded to Sherrod Barnes, right to left. Pressure pulls off. Muskegon will go man-to-man defensively here with a 49-37 lead. Barnes fakes a pass to McKinney. Feeds right wing to a curling Smythe. Back up top to Barnes. Barnes, pull-up triple from 21. Good. 13 points from Sherrod Barnes on the pull-up. Inbounded here to David Day against the pressure. Over the timeline to Guy. 49-40. St. Mary's within single digits for the first time in a while. Briggs around Smythe right wing. Throws it all the way left corner to Guy. Left wing to a jumping Day. Day into the paint. Skip pass onto a driving Cunningham. Push shot no good, but a foul. Stanley Cunningham to the line for 2. They will get Smith. If they do, he's done. check that. They're going to get Barnes his fourth now. That's almost just as bad in terms of what Orchard Lake St. Mary's could have wanted. Left-hand free throw. Missed it all. Short for Cunningham. James Martin comes over to coach him up a little bit along with David Day. And one more at the line here for Cunningham. 49-40. Second at the line, making a 10-point game with 3:06 to go. Second left-handed free throw. Short. He missed them both. Rebound pushed down to Sherrod Barnes, who just picked up his fourth foul. Barnes around a screen, top of the key, three. Off the back rim, no. Rebound, Cunningham. Given on here today. They were trying to foul Cunningham, but didn't get the call. Jordan Briggs, right side of the floor, splitting defenders. Briggs to the basket, left-hand layup, rolls out. Rebound on the floor, gathered, put back, no good for Cunningham. A second put-back touch is good. The little left-hand touch home for Cunningham, 51-40. Eaglets push the pace, left wing, catch and shoot three. Barnes off the rim, no. Rebound, Briggs run into and fouled by McKinney, his fourth. 4 on McKinney, 4 on Barnes, 4 on Smith. 51-40. Briggs to the line, and then with 2.5 to go, it's starting to feel like Muskegon is on their way back to the state championship game.
Big Red's making some plays down the stretch. Yeah, a couple slaps at it from Cunningham underneath the basket, able to finish it, getting some rebounds and some points there underneath, and then a couple missed threes from Barnes, trying to really cut into this deficit. Hit one, but the last two not falling.
First free throw, good for Briggs. Second free throw, good for Briggs. Hits them both pure. He has 17 points. It's 53-40. McKinney to the right elbow, spinning into the paint, lowered the shoulder, but a foul called on the Big Reds. It'll be on it'll be on David Day, his third.
Mackay guy looking for the charge. He got knocked over, but the foul coming before that as McKinney was fouled going into his spin move before he ran over Mackay guy.
And the double bonus, 2 at the line here for Trey McKinney, looking for a 20-point game in the state semifinal. McKinney, that right wrist taped up, left elbow with a sweatband on it. First free throw, good. He has 19. Fours are wild as Sidnor and Wizalewski will check in. Martin and Barnes will check out right here. So those 4 fouls. Barnes has to take a seat right now as his team gets ready to go on the defensive end of the floor. Second one, McKinney, good. 20 points for Trey McKinney, 53-42. Full court pressure's on. Inbounded here to Guy. Guy curls along the half-court line. A travel, a carry, whatever you want to call it, going to be called as he lost possession and regathered. A carry, double dribble. He kind of did them all in one move, and Orchard Lake St. Mary's takes back over. Self-pass.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. It looked like he was going to one-handed kind of bounce pass to one of his teammates out of that pressure and got caught in between having to continue to dribble the basketball and not being able to get that pass off.
Can't do that at this level. Inbounded left corner to Smythe. Smythe pull-up shot going for the foul. Poked and stolen away by Briggs. Briggs running through a foul attempt. Throws it down to the right block onto a driving David Day. Day elevates. Right-hand layup good. 55-42. Barnes spinning in the lane. Handoff Wisniewski. Offensive foul. Drawn by Guy. Sherrod Barnes is done. And Muskegon's faithful can feel it with 2 minutes to go.
Guy's been very close. He's been trying to draw a charge all game long and hasn't been able to get the call, whether it's because the fouls earlier or just not getting quite there in time, but this time able to set his feet right in the middle lane. Knew Barnes was going to have to go quickly right through the middle. Gets the charge finally.
Guy to inbound to Sidnor. Skips to Day, near side of the backcourt. Day across the floor over the timeline of the right-hand dribble. Curls free throw line. Chased down by McKinney with 149. And run into by McKinney for the final foul on Trey McKinney. The sophomore getting waved off the floor by the Muskegon student section. He will take a seat here. 2 at the line coming up for David Day III. Luke Crichton, the freshman, will check in here. And McKinney will close his night with 20. I don't think this is the final time he'll play on this floor, either in high school or beyond. I think he'll play at the floor whether he's home or away playing on this floor. But he will take a seat here. First to the line for Day. It is good. How about 15 points for David Day III in this one?
He's been impressive from the start. Got a couple of shots early on. Got the Big Reds going early, and then now got a lay in just a minute ago at the free throw line, adding to his total.
Second free throw, good for Day as well. He has 16, just one behind Jordan Briggs' team, leading the team scoring. Muskegon will set up the full court 2-2-1 trap to slow it down right here. Smith right side to Smythe, back to Smith. Both Barnes and McKinney are done. Smythe over the timeline. Goes left corner with Zalewski. Catch and shoot three. Off the back rim, no. Rebound, run two. Out of bounds. Last touch by Orchard Lake St. Mary's with 93 seconds to go. The ball rolls into the scorer's table, into the media table. It hits Chandler. And it will go back Muskegon's way with 1:33 in the fourth. Wisniewski will check out here for the Eaglets. As Aiden Hanks is brought on for the first time. Smith fouls Sidnor from behind on the inbound. That will be the end of the day for Smith as well. That is his fifth. Sidnor to the line for two. All right, both coaches sorting out some substitutions here. Day will check out. Martin will come in. And also Smith off that foul takes a seat as Wisniewski will check back into the game. Third Eaglet to have fouled out in this game. And part of your problem with the intensity of this game only going 6 deep, it was certainly going to be part of the problem that they ran into throughout this course, or throughout the course of this game. Sidnor at the line. First free throw, good. Anthony Sidnor joins his backcourt senior teammates with double-digit scoring. He has 10. One more for Sidnor the third. Spins the ball, right hand free throw, good. Splashes it down. 11 points for Sidnor. 59-42. Muskegon is going to be going back to the state championship game. Over the timeline, Martin reaches and steals one away. Gave it on to Briggs. Briggs to the basket. Fouled underneath the hoop on the shot attempt by Wesolewski, and that will send Briggs back to the line with 1:22 in the fourth. Some of the St. Mary's student section faithful behind us starting to clear out, CT.
Yeah, Big Reds so effective closing games out again. An impressive one here. Running their full court pressure, really as much to slow down Orchard Lake St. Mary's, just to make sure they're not running up the floor and quickly scoring, but ended up getting a turnover out of it again, and another chance for Briggs, and the free throw percentage continues to go up here late in the game.
Coach Guy going to clear the bench, get his seniors off the floor. Second unit in. It's all but academic at this point in time. The Big Reds going back to the state championship game on game night tomorrow. They'll have Cass Tech. It's going to be fun. There's really nothing much more I can say about it. Briggs, free throw, good. 18 for Briggs. All right to left, near side. Here comes Wesolewski up the left side of the floor. The senior drive, shot blocked away by a high-reaching Langston. Rebound straight down to Crichton. Drives in the paint, kicks left corner Wesolewski. He'll feed it left wing to Smythe, who will start the offense with 109. Around a screen, Smythe, top of the key. He's been quiet in this game, launches a three. Off the connector, no. Long rebound. Onto the floor, onto Langston. Crichton ties him up, takes it away. Throws up top to Smythe. Smythe for Wesolewski, right wing. Left corner, Crichton, the freshman, a little bit of space. Launches a three against the closeout of Langston. No good. Rebound tipped up top for Oliver. Oliver feeds over the timeline to Petty. Petty lobs to Langston to the basket. Two-hand shot. He's fouled. And Langston will go to the line for 2. Foul on Creighton, 43 seconds to go, 61-42. It's going to wind up being a 20-plus point win, and Muskegon making a statement. There were a lot of people, Chandler, that called De La Salle Orchard Lake St. Mary's the de facto state championship game. There's a lot of people that maybe called the game earlier between Grand Blanc and Cass Tech the de facto state championship game. There's a lot of people that said there's no way the West Side's winning this thing. The West Side hasn't won since Muskegon last did it. Look out, because they got a chance. A good chance.
A very good chance. They continue to prove every game that they play. There's really at the end, it's not overly close. They were all an entire game right around double digits. The Orchard Lake St. Mary's team able to close it and make a couple pushes to get themselves back in, but Muskegon pretty much controlling the entire way and going to finish up 20 points.
Langston hits both free throws, and Orchard Lake St. Mary's goes to work with 36 seconds. Wazalewski top of the key, feeds left wing onto the freshman Matthias. Feed poked up, stolen away by a reaching Keyshawn Johnson. Kicks right corner to Petty. Petty handoff, Watson right wing, back up top for Petty with 21 seconds. Petty handoff, left block, Oliver flies to the basket, right hand shot, 360s, hangs on the connector, will not fall. Rebound, Keyshawn Johnson, drives, floater, hangs on the rim, won't fall, but a foul. And Johnson will go to the line with a 21-point lead.
And the offensive rebounds there in that possession, couple tough, really tough spin out for Oliver underneath the basket. Looked like he had the lay in, but Johnson keeping the possession alive.
Free throw good. Coach Guy gonna clear the bench even more and go to some of the unrostered sophomores or unlisted rostered sophomores as well, and call-ups off his bench with 14 seconds in the fourth. It's Hinkle and Lawrence on the floor, by the way, those call-ups. Free throw, Johnson, good. A 65-42 game with 12 seconds. Here's Creighton up the middle of the floor. Creighton, jump pass. Right corner to Cloender. Cloender up top, Aiden Hanks launches a three. Missed it all, 2 seconds on the clock, and that's gonna do it. 65-42. Inbounded to Petty. Petty weaves up the floor, half-court heave. He nearly banked it in. That'll do it. The Big Reds of Muskegon are back on their way to the state championship game. They will play tomorrow as they've got Cass Tech for a chance to win their first state championship since 2014. Myself and Chandler will be back for that one. And welcome to the Bates Agency post-game show. A big statement from the Big Reds.
Yeah, I think impressive offensively and defensively all game long from the Big Reds. From the start, able to get off to another fast start like they have a lot all season long and through the playoffs, and rode that momentum the entire way, never looked back.
All right, we got a lot to get to here in the Spates Agency post-game show. We'll get you your stats. We'll get you some of the keys to the game. We'll look at the two teams as well. And by the way, we'll also hand out our Centennial Securities Player of the Game. I don't actually quite know. There's a lot of ways we can go with this out of that terrific Muskegon backcourt. 65-42, Big Reds going back to the state title game tomorrow. And we will have the coverage there. Don't go anywhere. Right back with a lot more to break down.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a Farmers agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Breslin Center. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here on the Bates Agency post-game show. 65-42. Muskegon moves on to the state championship game tomorrow. We'll have the coverage. The tip is scheduled for 12, so we'll be scheduled likely to come on the air at 11:30 a.m. for that one tomorrow. Again, stay tuned to our social media at MI Game Night for official confirmation on kind of the scheduling and stuff regarding that. Chandler, scoring leaders and kind of standouts from this one.
All right, yeah, we'll start for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Leading scorer, Trey McKinney, 20 points and 10 rebounds, double-double before he fouled out. In this game, Barnes with 13 points and 2 rebounds. Wisniewski, 6 points, 8 rebounds. And Smythe with 3 points. No assists on the game for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Not a single assist throughout the entire game. So I think that's one stat that really jumps out when you look at some of the isolation ball and the defense that Muskegon was able to play. But on to the Big Red side, leading scorer, Jordan Briggs, 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. David Day, 16 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. Anthony Sidnor, 11 points and a rebound. And then going down the list, we got Davis, 6 points, 5 rebounds. Cunningham with 4 points and 5 rebounds. Langston with 3 points and 4 rebounds. Martin with 4 points and 2 rebounds. And then Johnson with 2 points. Oliver had 2 rebounds in there as well.
All right, our Centennial Securities player of the game. First off, an honorable mention. David Day had a huge 16 points. You mentioned how big he had to be in the pregame show. He was just that. And you start from the beginning. He hit 2 threes right away at the start of the ball game. But Jordan Briggs, I mean, the 18 points, the rebounding, the way he ran the offense, the way he was targeted but still led Muskegon in scoring. Big day for Jordan Briggs.
Yeah, it was huge. His shooting, of course, was there and leading scorer, but also the rebounds and the assists. I think crashing the offensive glass, getting some second chance as a smaller player and a guard was impressive. And then also early on when Orchard Lake St. Mary's really cutting off his ability to drive to the basket, and he was kicking out and finding David Day for a couple of his early threes.
All right, we're making the drive back out here tomorrow, and I certainly hope that everyone can join us. Maybe you either want to listen to us or maybe you don't get Bally Sports or whatever other option to tune into the game. Always free here at Michigan Game Night, MichiganSportsRadio.com. Muskegon, big win, statement win over Orchard Lake St. Mary's tonight. For Chandler Timmer, for everyone at Game Night and Michigan Sports Radio, I am Nate Dreyer signing off again. Stay tuned at MI Game Night and social media for confirmation on when we're going. The plan will be 11:30 tomorrow morning with a noon tip scheduled for the Division I state championship game. Cass Tech versus Muskegon for the big title in Michigan. Cannot wait for that. We'll see everyone tomorrow with the state championship game. Lob to head over the timeline to Gable. Gable straight to the basket. Elevates. Slams it down over top of Orbaugh. Oh my goodness, the tomahawk jam!
The ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star in all the years.
Driver pounds the rock, looking for a passing lane. Got some motion going, got a right corner for Hagel. Pounded defensively by Dudley. Step back 3 for the lead. Buries it pure! Kobe Hagelin, 40-39, West Ottawa. A step-back triple. Absolutely cold-blooded from Hagelin. Giving on to Titus. Titus angles, pull-up shot for the lead. Good!
Brady Titus, a scream to the heavens after he knocks it down.
And the Hudsonville Eagles are state champions for the first time in school history. They bob at center court. Head coach Casey Glass, in his 12th season, has taken the Eagles to the mountaintop. They are state champions.
And it's the ultimate revenge for Tri-Unity. Another state championship for Coach Keeler's squad. The defenders of Tri-Unity Christian, state champions in Division 4, 56-45 the final.